Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast episode 147. We're missing Sean. He ate too many raisins, apparently.
I don't think those are raisins.
That's a thing. Oh.
I mean, it depends on where you found the raisins. That was probably the problem.
Yeah. I'll say, dude, Mitch spiked his fruit, so Sean's like, he'll be back next week, I think. So we'll see him. He did say the meat of the week was ham.
That's
ham.
pretty basic.
Just regular ham. No flavored ham. Just regular
raisin ham.
Raisin ham. Yeah. Oh man. But we still have some stuff to go over. You know what? I will say it was actually a fairly quiet week this week.
Again,
almost a calm before the storm, almost. Right, Nate? Right, Nate?
What? Right, Nate?
Right, Nate?
What's right, Nate?
Let's storm. Let's go around here. We have our guest tonight is Randall Thor 19. Rand, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me on. I'm kind of overwhelmed a little bit here because I watch your guys' show every week. Big fan of everyone's channels. So this is pretty exciting for me. So thanks for having me on. I was shocked when you DM'd me, to be quite frank. So I'm just really excited to talk about games, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm not much of a Nintendo fan, unfortunately. So hopefully the chat doesn't hate me too much.
Not a ton of Nintendo stuff happened this week, so
I don't like Nintendo much that either. It's okay, man. It's all good.
There was a lot of
Player Essence, no Nintendo hater.
There was a lot of Xbox and PlayStation stuff this week, so a bunch of stuff to go over there. Let's go over MVG. What's up, man?
How you doing, man? Been a good week this week. I'm still been playing Need for Speed Heat and enjoying the backlog. Hopefully, I'll get it all cleared up before the big games start coming out next month. Cool. So
that'll work. What about Nate? What's up? How you doing?
Not too bad. Enjoying some stormy weather here.
Ooh.
No snow yet.
No snow, just a lot of rain.
Yeah, if we get through this whole year this winter without snow, I'll be really happy.
It's looking pretty likely that we probably will not get a significant snowstorm this winter.
I am all for that. Yeah. OJ, what's going on? OJ's here.
I am here, and don't mind me, guys. I'm just fighting some deadly raisins from California.
Yeah.
Just get my battle gear on. I'm just fighting some deadly raisins because those were from California, and they actually sent me to, get make sure all the toxins got out of them because those raisins are pretty deadly. So I'm busy doing that, but I made some time to come on the podcast today, guys. All right,
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Jordan, what's up?
What's going on? Good to be here.
Good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. Miss Click, how's it going? What's going on?
Hey, it's going. It's great. How are you guys?
Good. We're doing well. And then Max, back from an illness.
Back from near death.
Yes, I was in the hospital last week, and I'm feeling much better. Still not quite 100%. I may be a little bit quiet this week, just because I am still a little bit under the weather. But thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. I'm much better. Thank you.
How many raisins were you, dude?
It was 12 raisins is what did me in.
Damn.
Sean's not gonna live that down, man. Raisins took him out. Like he's never gonna live that down. And then Evan, what's going on, man? Evan's here on the podcast.
Yep, managing all of this. It's been a busy week.
That works. Evan did remind me that we had actually there were two Streamlab questions from last week, Evan, that we missed. So I'm gonna go over those real quick. Almost from Prince of Duval, who asked, if you only had enough money to buy one next-gen console, which would you choose based on what we know, and what are your main deciding factors? Also, DBZ should go back to Monolith. I agree on that last part. But I guess that will be between the Xbox and the PlayStation right now.
Is that even a question?
Two consoles being talked about currently.
I mean, seriously, is that a question?
Yeah, which one would you buy? Yeah.
But we don't know anything about the PS. How? We don't know anything about the PlayStation 5. If I had to go based on purely, he asked based on what we know, and based on what we know the Series X is going to have Hellblade 2 and Project Morrow.
Get your headband, lady. Get your headband. Let's do this.
It has no announced games.
Get your headband.
I got one word. I got one word that we have no idea if Xbox has or not, and that's exclusives. Okay, that's all. If I get my Spider-Man, my God of War,
we are not going to start off this podcast.
You got a letter opener.
I got a letter opener. It's somewhat sharp. This part is, but I mean, come on. Do you have anything to really look forward to on Xbox other than a couple names?
Bleeding Edge.
It's okay, couple.
I'm looking forward to Halo.
That game looks like trash. I was just joking.
I am very optimistic about Halo Infinite. Personally, I'm more hyped for the PlayStation 5 slightly. I'm curious. We need to see more about it. We're still kind of just shooting in the dark because we.
But what about Forza?
Ooh, Forza.
I was
well, if there's whenever next Horizon comes out, I'm not a big fan of that track. Like the track one. Horizon's awesome though. So Horizon 5, you know.
What about Fable?
Well,
yeah.
Fable.
Dude,
okay.
Fable.
Yeah, Fable. Yeah, okay.
If they announce a badass Fable game, like I would say Xbox. Like the 360 was awesome. If they get back to that, dude, I'd be more hyped for like, you know, Xbox. But PlayStation, like Ms. Click was saying, like you can count on them to have their big exclusives. You can count on God of War. You can count on Infamous. Maybe that comes back.
What if he doesn't jump again?
Why not both?
I mean, you can get both, but they said either or. I mean, obviously, we're all going to get, well, most of us are going to get both of them. But, like, if Sony brings their exclusives, it's always a little bit kind of more hype for Sony just because they do have those games that, you know, like Infamous needs to come back. When are they going to
Thank you. I've been only yelling at Sucker Punch to just, hey, finish up your Ghost of Tsushima game already so we can get back to Infamous.
It might be a while for Infamous, but we'll see. But anyway.
Big Infamous fan. Hell yeah.
Right now, it's Xbox though, because we know more about the Xbox. So if we have to pick right now, obviously it's got to be Xbox, right? Because we don't know anything about PS5. So
Exactly.
But yeah, PlayStation 5 once we actually start hearing information.
It's totally the Switch Pro.
Well, don't get me wrong. I honestly hope that the Xbox surprises us. I would love to be wrong and something like change to where they're like, yo, we got so much up our sleeve. All those acquisitions of all those names that we brought into our game studios, like, boom, we got a whole bunch to make your worthwhile. So I hope they surprise us.
Hey, Ninja Theory is working on 3 games all of a sudden, so
yeah.
You never know.
Obsidian's got a Skyrim RPG that they're working on, or at least that's what it was referred to me as. Their Skyrim AAA production.
Wow. Okay.
Their next big game.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff going on that will be revealed slowly as we get going here. But I'm going to get them both, Xbox and PlayStation 5. So I'm not much of a PC guy. I do wonder, though, how light the launch titles will be for both. Because I'm not expecting many PlayStation 5 first-party games to hit for launch, except for maybe Gran Turismo 7. And I think it's just going to be Halo and Forza Motorsport 8 for Xbox.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be the big thing is the launch lineup. But I mean, you could have some third-party stuff thrown in there, like maybe blue points around for it. Even though it's technically like second-party kind of with them, so maybe they'll buy them. The launch lineup's gonna be big though. If Halo's with the Xbox, that'll probably be what I'm playing most of at the time. So. And then we had Aiden Quinn, who said, I've had this debate with my friends. Do you guys believe there is an indie character with enough pull to be in Smash? If so, which one?
And like Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight? Yeah, Shovel Knight could do it.
But he's, I guess.
Yeah, isn't he already... Is someone
Untitled Goose Game?
Oh, boy.
Would love Goose.
Didn't someone bring up Shantae as well?
Shantae,
Shantae's huge,
yeah. Shantae, Shovel Knight. I mean, Minecraft, that's not really an indie, like, dude anymore, but Steve, I mean, like, his roots are indie, I guess.
That is true. Roots were indie at the time. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
One of those. Shantae, Shovel Knight, or Steve, one of those guys would be, or girls would be the ones with enough pull. Okay. If anyone was going to get in, though, it was going to be Shovel Knight, and Shovel Knight's not
Would Sam Porter Bridges qualify as an indie character?
Dude, he doesn't like to fight, though.
Oh,
he doesn't like to fight.
He goes around and just smacks him with his UPS packages.
What does that love?
He just chucks blood bombs at things.
And then he pees on them as a finisher.
His pee vials.
His ultimate is he unzips and pees on him.
Oh, boy.
All right,
I guess I'll jump up the rating.
Point blank one shot.
Or no, it's E10, isn't it? It's E10. It has to go up to at least teen. At least teen if you're pissing on people. I mean.
So those are the two through Streamlabs. Let's go around. We can talk about some video games if that's okay. It's a video game podcast. Let's talk about some games. What's everyone been up to this week? It was a quieter week. I assume people got a chance to catch up on some of their backlogs and everything. I've been still working through Dragon Ball Z Kakarot slowly. It's a mid game for me right now. It's just okay.
I love that game.
It's like a 6 for me right now. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Wow. I give it an 8
out of 20. 6 out of 20. No, I'm
Nope.
kidding. I get overwhelmed at times by how good some of the cutscenes look, and then I get reminded of how bad some of the cutscenes look.
You
at
feel the
times,
corner cutting, yeah.
Yes, it is like, wow, they really.
There's the type of thing of most talking is done from behind people, so they don't have to animate their mouths.
Their mouths, I noticed that.
They're like, let me give you a dramatic speech.
And dude,
Let's do. Yeah,
the censorship is worse than the Nicktoons cut.
Which is still weird because you definitely get to see Tien's arm just get ripped off in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't get that. They punched his arm off, but then they won't show Trunks cut up Frieza. I'm like, oh, come on.
They also did the full blast through Goku. They showed the hole in Goku's body, so it's weird. The censorship is very random.
Yeah, it is all over the place. So I don't know. I'm like, they didn't even show Frieza get cut in half. That's like the most iconic moment in Dragon Ball Z for a villain to get literally cut in half to end their reign of terror. So I don't know. I would like to see another. I think CyberConnect 2 has done enough. So
wait a minute,
they can go away now.
Not going to give him another shot.
Honestly, personally, not only am I having fun with this game, I'm hoping it sells enough that we can get a Dragon Ball Super version of this. I would love to see like that all done, because it's cool seeing Dragon Ball Z again, but I want to see Super.
What kills me is they just did the series. They didn't think to be like, hey, let's throw a movie in here, just to do a movie as well. Yep. Let's throw something in there. Like they could have done. Sure, they could have done that. They could have tackled like the Tree of Might.
Tree
or
of Might,
something.
World's Strongest.
Yeah, just something a little easier where you don't have like Super Saiyans and stuff around. They could have kind of tackle it right where everyone was not really doing crazy, beam battles all the time. They were doing more like fighting.
Be cool to do the Lord Slug thing, fight a giant Namekian. Be awesome.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. I don't know. I just I feel like they could have done so much more. But hey, maybe next one. It sold well enough in the UK to top the sales charts this past week. So
the game's selling well. I don't think the game is selling well. It was
it's Dragon Ball Z.
It was second in Japan. It has sold over 90,000 without digital. So I think the game's going to do well. CyberConnect games, believe it or not, they actually do well. I mean, people are buying those damn Naruto games. So if they're buying those games, they're definitely buying this. So I mean, like those games, I think it's like 11 million plus for the Naruto games, and for the quality of those games to sell that much, I think Dragon Ball Z, the Kakarot or Dragon Ball Kakarot is going to do really well. I think CyberConnect 2 is going to do another one. Like they're going to do another one, like a follow up, and hopefully they add Super and they kind of fine tune things and kind of refine it. But yeah, I think there's going to be another one, and I think it's going to be CyberConnect again.
I played a little bit of that Hypercharge game on the Switch. I gotta play more of it because I played maybe for like half an hour. So I'll play a little more of that. It's like the shooter that's kind of like a tower defense first person shooter kind of on the Switch. So I'll check out more of that. Visually, it actually looks pretty good as a first person shooter on the Switch. And then I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 on the PS4.
Good Lord. Why?
One, it went on sale for $15. Two,
Ew.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, or Tony Hawk, trended on Twitter one day because everyone wants to see another game, and I was like, I kind of want to play through them. So I played all the Tony Hawks in a row just to see how that series really did like crash into a side of a cliff. And because I went first one, second one. I don't have 2X, unfortunately.
2X is the best one, dude.
I need
on the
to
Xbox. Get
2X.
It's legit.
Okay. I will do that. And then I did 3 and 4 on the Cube, on the GameCube, and then I played 5 on the PS4. So they still want $60, by the way, outside of that sale for that game, and it is quite bad.
I realized I have 2X. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'll pick that one up. I'm sure I can find that pretty easily. So
I think it's dirt cheap. I think I found this for literally $1.
I need that HDMI mod MVG for the Xbox.
I'm hearing it's coming, man.
I will solder that thing in. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go over to our guest, Rand. What have you been playing this week, man? Hit us with it.
So I finished up Remnant from the Ashes. Played it in co-op with my buddies. We all downloaded it through Game Pass. It's a pretty cool Dark Souls with guns game.
Yeah, Evan, you played that one.
Were
right,
you
Evan?
disappointed in the last boss as well?
Oh my god, it's one of the worst last bosses I've ever seen.
Biggest letdown in that game.
Oh my god, I didn't do anything in the last boss fight.
Freaking awesome.
The moth boss, the butterfly boss with the two. That boss was the highlight of the game for us.
Oh yeah.
It was a really cool experience. I think the back half was definitely paced really weird and wasn't very good. But the lead up to it, like halfway through, is a really cool game. I also played Vichy and Vector, which is a rhythm game set to his music. You're like a spaceship on a fretboard. I thought that was really, really well done, and I'd never heard of the guy before. So apparently he was like a very big musician who died a few years back. So that was really cool. And I just started Zombie Army 4, Dead War, which I think comes out in a couple weeks, but I can't say anything about it.
Okay, cool, cool. That's interesting. That's wait, that you said it's out in a couple weeks. I've heard of that.
It comes out February 4th.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I saw they added a couple things to Game Pass. Indivisible looked interesting. I kept meaning to pick that
added
one up. So
Plague Tale as well.
Yeah, Evan, you were all about that game.
It's a good game. You got to try it. If it's on Game Pass, do it.
It is on Game Pass. I'm looking at it now. I'm installing Indivisible, and then I'll go ahead and download that too, just to see what it's about.
It's short. I kind of like it. It's one of those like really. It's like 3 hours, I think.
What, the Plague Tale?
Plague Tale, or is it like 10 hours? I'm totally.
I'm thinking it's like a short-ish game, but it's definitely not like a quick run through.
Okay.
Okay. What about Max? What you been up to this week, man?
Temtem. Well, Super Nintendo for some reason, super into Super Nintendo again. I don't know what really possessed me. I've been playing a bunch of Zelda on here, Super Metroid, and Temtem. I am really into Temtem.
Isn't Temtem good? We were trying to tell people, Evan, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were trying to tell people Temtem is the game to get if you want, I guess, a more advanced version of Pokemon. Is the best way to describe it.
It almost feels more basic at the same time, and that's kind of what I like about it. I feel like it's
a fleshed out Pokemon game.
It is,
yeah, yeah.
I also kind of like that there's only 80 Temtem in the game right now, so I feel like you
they rolled it back.
There's 80. There, I thought the early access version only has 80.
I thought we had 144. I thought
it was like 140 something in like their little
148.
What do they call it? The Tempedia or something like that.
Well, I was reading the early access page. The early access page said that the early access version will be half the game, and I thought it said that it was 80 Temtem and 20 hours of the 40-hour game. Maybe I misread it, but I like everything I've run into so far. I've like everything. I don't know. It's cool that everything's like the double battle. I like the Team Rocket ripoffs. They're really silly. I think the graphics are gorgeous. It's cool to see players everywhere. That's the biggest thing. Is it's cool to see an MMO.
Okay. You can also squat up.
I don't know anything about the game, but I know it's very, very similar to Pokemon, and is there any concern that Nintendo will go after them in any way, or do you think it's
development for a long time? So
yeah. They have made it to where everything is.
You know what's hilarious?
Close, but not
hilarious. It's going to the Switch in 2021. It's going to the Switch.
So in MVG, what's really funny is everything is slightly renamed. Like instead of being a Pokemon trainer, you are a Temtem tamer. It's instead of throwing out your capture balls, instead you throw out capture cards.
In early beta, they were balls.
Discs.
In early beta, they were balls.
They changed them, but it's gonna go to the PS4 and the Xbox next year too. It's going to everything. And it's an MMO Pokemon game, so you literally run around and you see other people running around throughout. You could run through the entire game with someone else.
Yeah, you can actually co-op.
You can do a full co-op mode.
Austin John did for his playthrough. He had a bunch of his streamer buddies.
Yeah, I was on call with him.
Oh, wait a minute, Jordan, you have Temtem as well?
Yes, I've played a lot of it.
Okay, hold on. Jordan likes Pokemon.
I do like Pokemon.
If we can go over to him, I gotta hear Jordan's opinion on Temtem, because you are a Pokemon, a big Pokemon fan, and all of a sudden here comes this Temtem game, and I know. All right, so Rand even said Rand, you played through Pokemon, right?
Yeah, my first ever Pokemon. We raised $800 for charity. Never had seen the game before, and I'm not going to repeat what I said about it on the show because people will hate me.
Let me guess. You thought it was, well, you're probably like me, where I'm struggling to play through it because I think it's boring right now.
I thought it was the most boring game I've ever played in my life.
That's what I see a lot of people say. It's basically Pokemon hasn't changed a ton, obviously, so it's still a fairly basic RPG, right? I think that's what a lot of people are realizing. Or at least if you see online, I think it had to do with the national decks or something, and then all of a sudden it was a big deal. But it was something I brought up a while ago, was they should try to do something else with Pokemon, and it didn't go over too well there with that suggestion. But like watch this, Nate. How much of Pokemon have you played?
I just did the 3rd gym.
Okay. Nate's had that game for a while, by the way. Why aren't you playing more of it, Nate?
There's no real specific reason. I'm just kind of taking it slow. I mean,
don't like your opponents coming up every now and then, or all the talking.
I don't like. I hate how Hop just keeps showing up.
Oh, dude, you and this Hop thing, man.
Yeah.
You gotta let it go.
Leave me alone and just let me explore and battle and train and fight other trainers and get to the gym. It would just be a lot better. It just feels like the pacing was just off with this game, but otherwise, I mean, the presentation, everything is good. I just really hate the pacing.
In most other RPGs, Hop would have became the evil villain by the end that you would have had to fight. Mm-hmm. I was waiting for that moment to happen, but I guess Pokemon never does happen. So,
Temtem introduces a couple extra things to kind of play around with the gameplay and the battles, and like they have a stamina system, which is pretty interesting.
There's a lot to the game.
I love the stamina system. Honestly, I think the stamina system might be one of my favorite parts of it.
So, Jordan, let's hear it. What do you think of Temtem?
I think while it does have its issues, especially day one with the servers, which they're constantly doing maintenance, and I will say they've done a lot of great fixes in the past few days to make the game stable and run well, and the queue lines go down because you were in 20,000 plus queue lines.
Yeah, they got hit hard, man. They got hit really hard.
A lot of people are in, and now they have ninjas streaming the game. There's a lot of big people who are playing this game, and it's bringing a lot of attention to it, which is great because there's it definitely deserves it. This game has a lot of great ideas. It's if they gave Pokemon an actual challenging mode, because to be honest, Pokemon Sword and Shield ain't a hard game. You could get through that. The newest Pokemon player who's never played Pokemon before can get to that game no problem and figure everything out. Temtem has a lot more strategy. It takes the strategy of Pokemon, makes it a bit harder. And right now, since we really don't know a lot about this, it's not like Pokemon. It hasn't been around for a long time where you just kind of know everything about it. It does make it more challenging. I think the graphics are great. I think the variety of Temtem are pretty cool in the game. Now there's a lot of ones that are very close to ripping off Pokemon to a point where you're like, that's literally just this Pokemon. But it's very cool. The MMO aspect to it is actually really fun. The co-op aspect to it's really, really cool. A lot of awesome stuff. Now the game is not complete. It's an early access. You can buy it for $35 as they update the game more and add things.
They're going to get closer
up
to
in
60,
price.
right? Is the idea to eventually get there.
So you'll find a lot of places in the game that just have a work in progress sign saying this is going to be something later on, because there's a lot of like floating islands of like the constant through the traveling where they can easily add on new areas. But it's pretty fleshed out for what it is. You can tell that they've been working on this game for quite some time. And it actually, like I said, it's challenging, and that's what a lot of people have been wanting from Pokemon. I have a friend who literally asked me.
I had to walk around and grind Temtem up at one point.
You have to, because there is like a EXP share type thing you get after the first dojo. Instead of a gym, they have dojos. Yeah. So after that, you can find an EXP share, which you can only attach to one extra or Temtem. And that'll help out a little bit, but you do have to grind and level up. And it is a grind to level up. It's not, I go battle a few and I'm leveled up. It's a good bit. And there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of good strategy to it. There's shiny versions of the Temtem called Lumas. My friend found the rarest one there is on like a 0.001% chance. Pretty cool.
Okay.
It's fun.
I'm just going to ask you this question. All right, Jordan.
Here
we go. Is Temtem better than Pokemon? The game itself, not the brand. Obviously, the brand for Pokemon is better.
And I have a follow-up question too to that.
Okay, to first answer that, not yet. When the game is complete, that's a different discussion. But since this game isn't complete, and there is things I want to see change in it, and I do want to see where it fully comes out, I can't fairly say that it's better than Pokemon. But is it going to give it a run for its money in terms of a wake-up call for Nintendo to maybe try a little bit more newer things to spice up Pokemon? Yes.
Okay. I think that's what a lot of people want anyway. So it'll be good.
My question: how long before the community turns on the developer?
We'll see. That really depends on how they're handling stuff. Now I know day one they kind of pissed off some people because the servers weren't working, and they tweeted out like, "Hey, we got to take a break because our staff's hungry. We want to get burritos, and they're sitting there tweeting about the burrito place was closed, and everyone's like, just update the servers, fix the game. They're like, no, we're dealing with burritos right now. Like, they were kind of having fun, but they're also getting a lot of people hyped up. But they've been a lot, as far as communication, they're great on Twitter. They have been updating every time they're going to stop the servers, giving you a heads up, and anytime they're updating stuff, what the fixes are. They're doing a good job at that. I will give them that. Their Twitter support and their Discord support is really good.
Okay. Well, I think it'll be real interesting when it comes to consoles next year.
Yes,
that'd be cool, especially if they drop it on PS4, Xbox, and Switch like all at once.
You mean PS5, Xbox Series X?
It'll probably. Honestly, they'll probably just throw it on like everything. It'll probably just be cross. Because you see the visuals, dude. That thing runs on like a potato. I bet you my Surface could run it.
Well, it's weird. The game itself is like 1 gig since
1.8 gigs.
It's a client. It's basically just streaming everything off the server. So yeah, it could run on anything.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this game evolves over time. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
That's good. All right, cool. So Rand, if you were bored with Pokemon, you maybe give Temtem a look when that hits next year.
There you go. I think I'll skip Temtem.
What about Miss Click?
Only thing new? I don't know if it was last week or this week.
Tarkov.
I don't remember. It's all a blur. Well, we played a night of Tokyo Mirage when it came out. And then which I think was last week, but I don't think I talked about it. So that was okay. UI's a little weird, but it's a fun game. And then Tarkov, yeah. Rip.
How do you like that game? Because I watch a guy, Silent Sentry, who plays it, and like he's all hardcore, into it, and that game just seems like such a not misclick game. So I want to know,
it's made for a specific group of people. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on it? And I watch a ton of it. I think it's cool.
I do love realistic shooters. I just haven't gotten back into one in a while. I think the last one we played together, like as a group with my group that we play, was probably PUBG. And of course, we all bought into PUBG with like the hopes of, this game's going to develop so well. And when it's like fully out of beta and everything, it's going to be a great realistic shooter battle royale thing. This game is like, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's a super hyper realistic game that's pretty freaking accurate. Like the controls and like the body parts that can be affected, and even the sound effects and everything. It's just the fact that it's a really sweaty game. Yeah. Because you go in with loot that means things to you. And you go in and you're trying to take more loot from other people, or just loot off the land if you can, and then get out before you die. So there's not a real definite winner. It's all about you trying to gauge yourself in gunfights and then get out, or, possibly lose to greed, or like me, you get caught by a bush Wookiee and then just keep dying because there's just someone hiding in the bushes and being a little
the best way I've heard anyone describe it is a game of gambling. Basically, you put in X amount of resources to see if you can go into a map, get X amount more, and then get the hell out. So it's just that kind of gambling system.
You have super highs and super lows. Like I've been watching several people stream it a lot of these people, like streamers, have been streaming it for a couple years, and the game's just now starting really to pick up relevancy because it's getting every day is closer to a launch. And it's insane watching them. But it's been really cool. I've had a lot of people push me to play it, and I hate them for it. But now that I've bought it, I'm dedicated to like learn it and like not die right off the bat, because it's punishing.
Okay.
You using maps yet, or are you still just kind of going with what you're finding out as you play?
I mean, I've been trying to use maps, and like it's so confusing, dude. They throw you in there, and like you have places that you exit the map, but they change every time. So you have there's like 9 or 10 different maps, and then each map has like 10 to 15 exit points.
And some of them are, you can't wear a backpack. You have to have these items on you to use it. Like it's all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, so like changes all the time. So it's really challenging and really rewarding. And I like how it plays kind of on the Battle Royale scheme, but it's not, because you have CPU in there, like NPCs. You have people that are like look like NPCs, but they're not. And then the map can only be filled with maybe at most 16 people. So it's not like 100 people all crowded in on each other, constant firefights. It's a lot more patient and peeking corners and stuff like that. So it's a really good game. I just think a lot of people, they might not find it as fast paced as some other shooters.
Okay. Let me go over to MVG.
I've been playing Need for Speed Heat, and I was supposed to start Borderlands, but I haven't done that yet. Sorry, Jordan.
You still enjoy Need for Speed?
Yeah, I'm going to finish the game. It's kind of it's getting a little monotonous now, but I'm kind of more than halfway through the game, so I want to kind of see how
it's weird when you beat it. When you beat it, it's just like it's the most like anticlimactic ending. You just get a screen.
Yeah,
it's just like this little text. It's like. Thank you
for playing.
Yeah, basically, that's it. So, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll start to realize it because you'll start to get up in level to where there's like 2 cars left or something for you to get.
It's fun as hell, though. Like, I just love driving around and getting into races. It's so cool. You're right. It really does remind me of like Carbon and Most Wanted. Kind of crossover type.
That's all I wanted at Need for Speed was that. You know, I'm like, you got Forza for like the more simulation or open world arcade simulation. I just want Need for Speed to just be stupid, you know. I sort of like you lose the cops by going over jumps and like there's fireworks going off and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. So I'm having good. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, the cheesy story is also really cool.
The story's terrible.
Yeah.
I made my guy look like a guy who would take a picture of his car and put it on Instagram because that's what he does at the end. He like takes a picture of himself. This dude has like the big hair with like the slick back and like
gotta have a slick back.
Oh yeah, man. He's he looks like he should be. Like no one's questioning him taking pictures of like his car after winning a race. So
I love after you win a race and like there's a cutscene. It's like, dude, you just got like 300 views on whatever social media you're trying to talk about.
Yeah, they're like, you did it. You got 300 views. Here's 20 grand. Okay.
Is that how much they pay out there?
Wait a minute.
I need to win some races and get some cars. Right?
It's like, was it December? That's some good ad rates.
I'm telling you,
that's the best ad rate ever.
Actually, Rand, you like the Forza? Did you try Need for Speed Heat at all?
I have it, but I've yet to play it. Okay. I didn't like Payback at all. Did you play Payback?
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was I played it for an hour and I hated it. I bought Heat when it went on sale on Black Friday.
Yep,
like 2 weeks after it came out. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I played it early access, like the EA access thing they did, and then I was like, and then then the flyers came out, and it was like, oh, it's on sale for $30 or something on Black Friday. All right, that'll work. But it does not have any of that microtransaction stuff in it. There's 0 in it, so it's like old school Need for Speed, which is nice. But let's see, OJ, what's up, man? You've been playing.
I do want to add, but Payback, you already knew that game was going to be trashed by the name. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out.
Yeah.
If you call a game called Payback, you already know. You already know it's probably going to be ass. But in terms of what I've been playing, really just kind of getting ready for Cindered Shadows with Fire Emblem, the DLC. So I've been putting a ton of time into that with Fire Emblem 3 Houses, still playing the Blue Lions, trying to get that beat before Cindered Shadows comes out. Also getting back into Smash because everyone's favorite character Violet is coming next week. So I'm getting, like that character, since everyone's so excited, I'm getting ready for more of that. So I was playing that. But for the first time ever, I actually played online Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, like the full game, not the demo, but the full game with other people on the Nintendo Switch. And holy smokes, there's a lot of crap in Monster Hunter. Like I've always known this, but until you actually start playing, especially with people that are like high level, because I played with like, my dude Aron, he's like 800 something hunter rank, and all the stuff that's in that game is just nuts. I can see why people love Monster Hunter and why it has such like a hardcore and dedicated fan base, even if it's like a freaking port, selling millions on the Switch or whatever, even if it's not World. So played that. And that was fun. I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm probably going to play some more Monster Hunter in the future. But that's pretty much what I played. I didn't really play much outside of that. And soon, I think there's, like I said, there's Cinder Shadows. But then also, don't we have, like, February, there's not much, though. So I'm not really sure.
There's, like, nothing. Like, I'm looking at February. I'm like, man, there's like nothing.
I'm gonna be attacking that backlog until March comes out, and then we've got Animal Crossing. So I'm excited to get into Animal Crossing. But yeah, just been going over the backlog, just playing some of the stuff that I currently play. And Monster Hunter
between Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. There we go.
Yeah, I will say if you buy both of those games on day one and you play both of them, you're probably a serial killer. Who has the potential to be a serial killer, or you've killed somebody before. I mean, it's like one of those three in my opinion.
I have both of those games coming. So
and you're gonna play them on both at the same day, John. I knew you had to go.
There we go. I mean,
he's the hammer guy. This is the hammer guy.
Oh man. I mean, I'm gonna play Doom Eternal first. We'll see. Animal Crossing, man, That's the real terrifying experience. I don't need to get into a whole nother mortgage over there. So, all right, Nate. Let's hear it.
Oh boy.
Well, we know it's not Pokemon Sword, so.
No, and I don't have my Switch with me to check the name of this game. I think it's called Caveman Jack.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like basically a knockoff of Joe and Mac. So I was kind of intrigued by this week's random indie eShop game, and I played it. And the opening is the caveman is sitting on his ass watching, I guess, rock TV. I don't know. How he has a television in prehistoric times still confused me, but he had a rock remote and everything. His wife started yelling at him. She then threatened to leave him. He didn't respond. He left. And as soon as she walked out the door, she got abducted by a pterodactyl. Now he gets happy. Like, oh, she's gone. Thank God. And then he realizes, I'm not going to have dinner.
Oh, God.
And then he's thinking to himself, like, food is love. Love is like pterodactyl. I'm like, what the hell? So he realizes he can kill the pterodactyl for food, and then his wife will love him again. And then the game started, and it's basically a flash game. The controls are weird.
How much is it?
I have no idea.
Oh boy,
this is a 2020 game.
Yeah, I threw like coal at a tiger, and it died, and then I fell off a platform because I stopped hitting the forward button, and he just ran an extra 5 steps for no reason whatsoever. And then after about half an hour, I was like, you know what? It's midnight. I'm going to bed. I don't want to play you right now.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that footage going up on your channel for that one?
Yeah, probably on Monday. I am playing a good Switch game, but it's under embargo until next month. But it is a Metroidvania style game. Well, next month is only like 8 days away.
Yeah, it's true. It really is already February, just about. Nate, you find some strange games, man.
They emailed me. I thought it was I thought it was going to be Joe and Mac, and it wasn't Joe and Mac. It was just
Jack.
Disappointment.
All right then, Nate or Evan, do we have any Discord questions?
We got a couple this week. Let's see.
Want to hit us with one?
Modern laptops just have USB-C and not HDMI. How come new TVs don't have USB-C input? Is USB-C ever going to be the video standard over HDMI?
Not for game consoles.
Not for game. Yeah, so probably not for what. It's all HDMI, man. I mean, if in a perfect world we would just be using like DisplayPort or USB-C, that'd be fine. But all HDMI, and it's easier marketing. I don't know. It's just what we know. So probably not. No, not for a long time if it ever happens. What's the other? You got another Discord question?
Yeah, we can go with what's the chance of the game Retro Studio was working on before they got Prime 4 surfacing?
Oh boy. I'm gonna say like 20% chance. Nate, what's that singing game, right, Nate?
Oh, the singing RPG.
Yeah. No, unless they were porting Prime Trilogy, probably not at all. I'm gonna say none. What Max? You got a different opinion on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think there's a good chance we'll see it. I'm not sure we'll ever get a chance to play it, but I do feel like there's a pretty good chance at some point we'll see what the hell it was. At least
someone will get it. Someone will get like the goods on it. I want to see Prime 4. What was so bad about it that they rebooted the entire development? That's what I want to say.
I bet it's going to turn out to be like, remember the original version of Doom 2016? It was called Doom Hell on Earth. And it was going to be like Call of Duty with Demons was what the developers called it. And it was so bad that they were like done with it. And we're like, nah, I think it's going to end up turning up to be like that. I think it's going to be like a super realistic Metroid Prime. And they were like, this is bad.
Dude, on the flip side, there was some, what was it? Duke Nukem Forever stuff that came out for like the originals. Did you see that, MBG? You saw it too?
Yeah.
Dude, that game looked good.
It looked better. Yeah, it was more cartoonish. It looked more cartoonish and silly. It's like it looks like Duke.
Oh man, that was from like 2002, and they were doing some pretty advanced stuff.
Yeah, they had their own engine that they built for it, and then obviously it didn't work out. But yeah, it's interesting going back and looking at all the different builds they had of that game over the years.
Let's go through some of the super chats here before we get into some of the topics with the Series X and the PlayStation VR 2 there. Let's go to Justin. Says, loved your Dragon Ball Z review, Dreamcast guy. Glad to see you.
Thank you. That was a really fun one to do, honestly. I spent like 10 hours editing that just because it was so fun getting like all the clips of people like powering up and punching each other through mountains. It was really fun.
Then we have Thanos who says, just wanted to say you guys rock, and I got my first Xbox One S for my birthday today. Very nice, very nice. Looking at that Master Chief collection, there's a lot of that. I mean, I guess just Game Pass and you got everything. So
Lost Odyssey too. You got Get Lost Odyssey. It's super cheap. You can play it on there.
Lost Odyssey is good. Game Pass might even just be in that Xbox One S box for all we know. They're just giving that thing away.
Probably get a month free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Load that up. Get on there. Doku says, any recommendations for a good cheap Switch dock? I would keep it first party for Switch docks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard too many horror stories with them busting and melting.
What's weird is sometimes Target will like mark those things down. At one point they had switched like first party Switch docks for like $20 a piece. So that sometimes you get lucky, but I would stick first party to be honest.
And now there's a shortage of them. Like I've had people tell me like on Amazon right now, it's like $184. Oh. So now there's a little bit of a shortage, and really people are just buying them through Nintendo's site. So it's like it fluctuates at times. There's like overstocked of them. Sometimes it's not. So yeah.
Lane says, I'm looking to upgrade my GPU, a GTX 960. Any advice for a budget gamer? Always loved the show. Well, I guess you could look for a like if you're going from a 960, you could probably find a used 1070 for fairly cheap right now, and that's a good upgrade. If you want to go full out, just get the 2070 because that's like the best value right now, I would say. Although it is $500. But
you can find some good used 1080 Ti's too.
The 1080 Ti is such a good card that the like it does not lose value. Oh my gosh,
there are individuals selling it. You might be able to like find people. I always tell people like there are a lot of deals on Facebook Marketplace recently. Okay, a lot of people don't necessarily know what their stuff is worth, and they sell it for way cheaper.
Yeah, like I'll look on like eBay, for example, which is where I would get a lot of stuff for like parts if I was trying to do a real budget build. And like a 1070, I think a 1070 is like 150 or 160 right now. Jesus. You can find them sometimes. And that's actually really cheap for a 1070.
Super cheap. That's crazy.
Which if you're doing like 1440p, is 1070 still holds up really well for that. But otherwise, like I said, go get a 2060 Super or a 2070 Super and you're good. That's a solid card. But yeah, from a GTX 960, that's going to be a big jump to a 1070 for you. So, Meticulous says, how do you guys feel about Sony buying the rights for Silent Hill so that Kojima Productions would join Sony as an exclusive studio for next gen? I don't think. All right, so I don't think
something to say, Nick.
Konami is not going to sell the rights for Silent Hill. They might license it for a game to be built to another developer, but they have tied Silent Hill into their gambling stuff.
Hey man, it's
not going anywhere.
Just go to Vegas and walk into any of those casinos. No. Play it for as long as you want.
They're gonna show up to E3 with their gambling machines.
If oh my god! If they
our new Pachinko machine
hit the lever, I'd be like, I'm dying. I'm dead inside.
It kills me what happened to Konami and those franchises.
Well, there's a rumor going around right now that they're working on multiple Silent Hills, and it's one of those things
I saw that.
It's like, how can we can't even be excited because it's going to be Metal Gear Survive. It's going to be like build a cage that way you can stop Pyramid Head, and he's going to walk this.
Has their last games really been for Konami? Have their last games really been Metal Gear Survive and then that terrible Contra game?
Well, unless you count the collections.
What about Hypersports?
Yeah, but they just passed off the collections to like M2, right?
Yeah. What about that Hypersports revival game or something?
Oh,
the Hyper Olympics one. Did that ever come out? Because I think that was on the list as well.
It's not out yet, right?
It's not out yet. Yeah.
Oh man,
I want them to
Contra
make
was
a,
the last one.
they should make a Pyramid Head Origins game where you play as Pyramid Head.
How sad is that? That is a massive fall from grace for Konami when it comes to the gaming sector. I mean, they're making money on their slot machines, but like, man,
They
Do you
also-
remember? Do you remember when the No reported that Microsoft bought the Silent Hill franchise for $3 billion a couple years ago?
what? I don't remember that.
You guys don't remember
I
that?
remember that.
I remember. That was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
$3 billion for
Yep.
Silent
They
Hill.
bought Silent Hills for $3 billion, and people were believing it because the No were reporting on it.
So I mean,
legit.
yeah, I mean, a
They
little
bought
bit more-
Minecraft for $2.5 billion, and that's
Well,
worth way more.
I was gonna say like that's slightly more than they spent on Star Wars. So yeah, that seems real. Sure.
I'd be asking for Metal Gear for that price. With it, throw it in there, you know. Well, yeah, Silent Hill will be in. Hopefully, they are making new games, Max. You probably want them real bad, so
I do. I said I was on a podcast this morning, and one of the questions was, "What's a remake I want to see the most?" And honestly, I would love to see a reboot. I would love to see like go back to the original, like just give us Harry Mason, give us Silent Hill. But I don't trust Konami to do it.
Juiceman Vaughn says, ask the creators of Digimon and Yokai Watch what happens when you try and dethrone the king.
It's true.
This one, I mean, shout outs to JMV. He's the homie. But I'll say that I think Temtem it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. They did crowdfunding on this one, which has been successful for them. And they're doing pretty much everything because those two other franchises that he mentioned, they don't do all the stuff that people wanted in Pokemon. They're just different. They're
that's
just
Completely different types of games. Yeah.
Temtem is like listening for feedback to communities and
exactly.
stuff too, right?
Temtem has Nuzlocke challenges. Temtem has all this stuff. The only thing I don't like about it, because I'm actually a backer of Temtem. Like, I backed the game. I played it. Yeah, I was a backer. I was one of the first backers of that game. I backed it. I was hyping it. I got videos on it. I got gameplay on it. I like it. But the always online, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. And I hope when they come out on the consoles that because like I don't want to play always online. What if I'm not online all the time? I don't want to play always online. There's no need for that. So make it normal. But like with those other games, like they're not doing all that other stuff. Like, you know, the other ones. So I think Temtem has a shot. It has a shot because it's actually taking like all this stuff because Digimon doesn't do Nuzlocke and doesn't do all this stuff. They don't do all that. And what was it? Yokai Watch? Yokai Watch completely changed the battle system to something that fans didn't even want. And nobody bought the game on the PS4 and the Switch. So they changed it what nobody even wanted them to change it. So yeah.
Malice says, I sold my Pokemon Sword for $30 at GameStop. Not going to miss it, to be honest, and I love Pokemon. Okay, there you go. Cersei Julius says, sup Spawn, I scored that EVOO Walmart laptop. Oh, that was the one I tweeted that out because I couldn't believe the deal on it. It has a 144 hertz display, an Intel i7, a GTX 1660 Ti, a 512 gigabyte SSD, 16 gigabytes DDR4 RAM, and it was $740. That is that is stupid cheap.
That's
Do they like
ridiculous.
it?
That's a
Right?
great price.
Yeah.
Do they like it?
He says it works well.
Yeah, it works well. Thanks for posting. I'm curious about the thermals in it, like if it gets hot. But I mean, that is a really good deal. When I saw it, it cut down from like, I think it was slashed from like 1,300 or something. Like they cut it in half basically for price. Good deal on that one. That thing probably plays, and that 444 hertz display, because it should have. I think the one I had G-Sync as well for it. Like it was pretty serious. So that is a really good deal. Nobody will care says shout outs MVG inspired me to install custom firmware on the Japanese 3DSs. Also shout out to Nate spreading the hate and logic. I cannot.
That's right.
Nate the hate. There you go. And then Justin says congratulations to OJ on the engagement. And rip RGT85. Apparently raisins are the new coronavirus.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Let's move over here to the how many Discord questions do we have left, Evan, just so I can plan it out?
I think like 3, 4.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
2 of them are short, so it should be fine.
Cool, that'll work. Let's move over we'll start with the Series X, which surprisingly somebody decided to tweet out a couple pictures of it. RGT's not here. RGT is great because he has like his green screen set up that he can like play around with images and stuff. Sometimes it backfires on us, but this actually would have been a good chance for him to shine. But we did have some pictures, strangely, just randomly on Twitter.
Super, and I want to say right up front, the craziest thing is we see leaked pictures here and there. These were very HD. Like, this was a dude who had time to like place it and aim a lamp at it and then take a picture.
You gotta make it look like you're running while you're taking the picture. Like,
yeah,
in the conference room.
I still say it was Phil Spencer's.
Yeah, you said that. I thought that was funny.
I can swap to him real quick. I actually can if you want.
This leak came from Microsoft. This leak came from Microsoft because the timing, it was like peak hour on like Tuesday night, right? No attempt to hide the serial number on it. I mean, this is, and no one from Microsoft has come out and said, hey, this is this is something that we're gonna stamp out very quickly, like they did with the AMD thing at the CES show. They like immediately came out and made a statement that, hey, this is not indicative of what the final product will look like. This is completely inaccurate. And I just feel like that this was a controlled leak by Microsoft to take a shot at Sony, and that's okay. That's my opinion.
What do you think, Rand? What do you think about that theory?
So I was shocked when I saw it on Twitter because I had to double check the photos I have of Series X, and I couldn't believe that somebody had leaked it already. Because I received 5 different photos of it from someone I know, and I double checked it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the real thing. It's the prototype, which they started sending out to employees early or late last year. A lot of people at Xbox have been testing it. And I will say, I know for a fact that it's not a controlled leak. They were very, very upset that it leaked that way. They didn't like the fact that it was shown off with the pube in the left-hand vent. This is not the way they wanted to show Xbox Series X and its like first official physical appearance to the world.
How was a pube? How
So Rand,
it could be a beard head.
DNA tech. I watched forensic files. Okay, and there's a difference between pubic hair and regular hair. Okay, so how'd you know
it wasn't regular hair? People blew up the image. It was definitely a pube.
So I have a question for Rand real quick. So if you're saying that this was not a controlled leak, which I mean, if that's what it is, then that's fine. I get that. But the serial number on the dev kit or on the prototype, I mean, that can easily be traced back to an employee. So,
it didn't necessarily have to be an employee. I mean, I asked someone I know, and they know exactly who the system belongs to. They're not just saying who it is.
It's Dr. Pubius.
Yeah. So I'm just that long slot in the back, right? That everybody says is a diagnostic port. I've thought the same, a diagnostic port, but then I got some info today, and I'm not too sure it's a diagnostic port anymore, so I got to go chase down that rumor now. So,
man, they're gonna show up with a Connect.
Looks like a Pix header to me. Looks like a Pix debug header to me, but it could be anything really, I guess.
Yeah, it's I mean, there was what's the theory on that? There was the debug, there was the swappable NVMe or SSD of some kind that could be changed out, or expandable memory.
Yeah, something like that. But I was convinced it was a diagnostic port, but I'm not too convinced anymore. But maybe someone knows more than I do on that. So,
well, the person with the Xbox, I assume, would know. So it's interesting that they didn't think to cover up the part that would identify them. Like,
it had to have been someone's kid. It had to have been someone high up enough, and someone's kid took a picture. Because if you remember, this is how the 360 leaked.
Yeah, didn't they like accidentally send somebody an Xbox One day too? I remember that.
They did.
There was that, and remember I feel like, Rand, you're totally on beat with someone's kid, because remember a guy had the iPhone 10 like 3 months early, like an Apple employee had the prototype iPhone 10, and that guy's kid was at home. His kid was like 16. I was like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video, and he made a YouTube video of the iPhone 10 like 3 months before it was revealed, and it was like, oh my god, why would you leak this? So yeah, it could just be literally a random person.
I'm impressed that they let the employees just go home with them. Like they're basically like, here you go. Don't let anyone take a picture of this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the NDAs are very, very strict and binding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like then we end up in this situation where there's just pictures of the Series X on. I mean, I guess they already showed us. Like if this had happened before the Game Awards, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, would have sucked.
But would any of, if you didn't know what it looked like, and that was, hey, this is a Series X, but you had no idea, would you even believe that was the Xbox Series X?
That's the thing. I'd have been like, what? But then
you would have been like, that's just a PC tower.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But it would have still made us think, like, wait, is that what they're gonna? And then they would have shown it and be like, okay, yeah, that was actually it. Okay.
There was Andre Black Nerd. I really love his content. He got a Switch a couple weeks before it came out. Remember they sent out that like first batch of Switches to people, and he filmed a video where he was playing it in an airport like 3 weeks before it came out, and nobody's even paying attention because nobody even knew what a Switch looked like at that point. So it's always the thing of before people know what to look for, it's just a piece of plastic.
Okay, it is interesting because I know everyone was like zooming on the ports, they're trying to figure everything out, and then they were looking around at the so that's the prototype. They might change some things on it before it actually comes out, possibly. But people were looking at everything. They were trying to figure out like how it was put together, if there were any screws around it. I was looking for screws, but if there was anything like people were trying to figure out how the ventilation would work. There was like a cable inside on the left vent, and it was interesting. It doesn't look, I looked at those pictures, it looks bigger in those pictures than I was expecting, but there was nothing to scale really next to it.
You didn't see that video from like IGN where they like showed like their mock-up?
Yeah, but I still think I would like to like if I had it, it'd be, I don't know, it looks a little bigger on camera for the images that they had, but you're right, they had the mock-up where they like first they made it out of like cardboard, right? Then they like 3D printed something, and so I'm curious how it's gonna actually look in person when I like sit it here, and if it's gonna be too large to like get near this monitor or something. But it was interesting to see that just kind of pop up on Twitter. But MVG, you said you were rolling into this podcast with some information, some knowledge around the Series X, specifically your opinion, because Nate has a completely different opinion. Is this what you guys? Is this what was being talked about before? That because Nate's over here teasing like a video or a podcast or something, but.
Well, I'll let Nate take that one. I don't want to steal his thunder on his channel, so he can answer that one.
Okay, so I want to hear Rand's input on this too, because MVG, your input's interesting because you have a lot of knowledge with the development side because you've done ports of things and you've worked with emulators and you've worked with stuff all the way back to like the old systems.
Yep, the OG
all the way up.
Xbox,
I mean, you ported something to the Switch, right? You ported the Diablo and yeah, so you've done a lot of stuff with that.
Doom and a couple of other things as well. So
yes, so it'd be interesting because you and I think Nate have a slight difference of opinion on it. So Nate, what do we got here?
Well, tomorrow I'll have on the Nate the Hate channel a discussion that MVG and I had yesterday about basically Microsoft's direction with the Series X and how you've had Matt Booty come out and talk about the lack of exclusives for the first 12 to 24 months. And I mean, we talk about the marketing that Microsoft will have to do if that is their intentions with the system moving forward. And I mean, we get into a variety of other topics, be it launch lineups, hypotheticals of it going up against the PS5. And we try to keep the main focus on Microsoft's marketing and how they'll have to get the message across is if they really don't have exclusive software planned for those first year and a half, 2 years. And also how it will touch on the developers, how they would have to go about that with 5 different development profiles to go back to the Xbox One VCR all the way up to the Series X. And we're also including the possibility of the Lockhart system in there. So it's a good video discussion. It'll be up tomorrow. I definitely would advise people to give it a listen. It's about an hour long, so it is quite meaty.
I got a question. How many times do you guys say Matt Booty? That's
I think 3.
I think we say it like 3 times each or something.
Oh, I'm there.
Okay, so this is the basic idea here. MVG, you're not super on board with them for the next year and you won't say year and a half. Is that fair? Year and a half window?
I don't want to say I'm not on board with them. I will say this. I'm a little, let's say, concerned, whether this approach that they're going with, where they essentially don't have any exclusive games and are going to support 5 systems plus PC is a concern to me. And what Nate was talking about, and you'll hear it tomorrow, but just real quick for tonight, is that my worry is, and we already saw this with Cyberpunk, they've delayed the game 5 months, and they came out and said, look, it's because we're having issues getting this game to scale on the VCR, right? So it really kind of means that anything between now and the next couple of years, when it's okay just to release a next generation game exclusively, has to support 5 different systems all the way back to 2013. And I think that's really going to put an extra amount of strain and crunch on development teams. I think what Microsoft's doing is admirable, but I also feel like there's extra work that needs to be done that's being pushed onto not only developers, but think of it this way: anyone that's a reviewer of the game, they have to review across 5 different platforms, right? If you want to do a comprehensive review of something, or people like Digital Foundry, where they're doing their tech analysis.
Oh, that's going to be nuts for them.
And I've spoken to John Linneman, and he's already concerned that their workflow is going to triple, right, than what they do now. So those types of things really have a human aspect to what Microsoft's doing. And I feel like, look, again, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I'm very concerned that maybe this isn't the right approach that they're taking. That's all.
Okay. What do you think about that strategy, Rand, that they're working to make? I think they're mostly trying to do the first party stuff, because third parties do what they want. They could release a Series X exclusive day one if they wanted to.
As far as I know, Microsoft hasn't mandated if you want to make a exclusive for Series X, you can. But isn't just, I don't know, I feel like this would be a much bigger issue if most of the third-party games coming out weren't going to be cross-gen on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X anyways. I mean, because the next Assassin's Creed is probably going to also have to run on the PlayStation 4 and the OG Xbox One. From what I was told, one of the reasons why Microsoft is doing this is because Game Core isn't ready yet, their operating system for next generation.
Right.
So, because it's not going to be ready, they have to support the older systems. And when it is ready, which is, I think, sometime in late 2021, then you'll see, okay, the games we're making as Xbox Game Studios is strictly only going to be on Xbox Series X, because they will be bringing Project X Cloud to the consoles. So if you wanted to play Fable, and Fable was an Xbox Series X exclusive, you could just use X Cloud on your Xbox One X to play the game streaming. But I mean, I don't know, I thought it was pretty obvious that they were going this way. Microsoft hasn't had exclusive since 2016. They're putting all their games on PC now. They put everything on Steam. Microsoft has been very, I even heard that they're about to get really cozy with Nintendo again. I don't know what for, but
Halo.
Okay.
I haven't been told exactly
Xbox,
what yet.
That one.
But they're all about, it's like the strategy of the company changed. You had Steve Ballmer, who was very much like, we need to bring customers to us through our hardware. And then Satya took over, and his strategy has been, we need to go where the customers are. So that kind of puts the Xbox Series X as, hey, if you want to play it on Xbox, we have all these different consoles. If you want the best one, you can get this one. Or if you just want to play it on PC, it doesn't matter. What Microsoft was most interested in, and I've asked this directly to them, I said, would you rather have somebody buy Gears 5 for full price, or would you rather have that person subscribe to Game Pass? And their answer to me directly was, we'd rather have that person subscribe to Game Pass.
They want them on Game Pass. Yeah. They'd rather keep you. They want to build a nice big subscriber base and just keep that.
So, I mean, I think you'll see when Matt Booty gave that interview was at XO19. So when he said the next year and then the year after, he's referring to 2020 and 2021. So I would assume once 2022 hits, the games they make exclusively from their first party will only be on Lockhart and Series X.
I think I'm most interested to see what they do with the SSD that's in there, and if they're developing for like a mechanical drive outside of load times, it's going to be. I'm concerned. I think other people are as well, because I think you were saying, MVG, John Lemon was concerned about different things that the Series X has, like that SSD wouldn't be fully taken advantage of with a game that also has to be made for a 5400 RPM mechanical drive.
Right.
That's going to be, I don't know if people realize how big of a difference that'll be when that happens. Like going from, like, if you've ever built a PC, gone from like a mechanical drive to an SSD, it is massively different. Like, it has the most noticeable difference when it's boot up speed, moving around the OS, all that. If it's all developed for it, it's going to be very, very quick. But then we don't even know the scale, because games have never really been developed specifically for SSD outside of, I think there might be like 1 or 2 games on PC right now that are like, you need an SSD. That's just the way it is. But like, everything's been developed to also basically be able to work on a mechanical drive as well, and that's one of the big things people are really interested in. It's one of the reasons I think people were concerned about Microsoft's words there, is that the Series X wouldn't be able to necessarily stretch its legs for like a year and a half, basically, if they're also worried about the system from 2013 that runs off of DDR3 is what they were concerned about. But if you're saying they're not mandating it, though, because I assume Hellblade 2, that's not on the original Xbox One.
I don't know for sure, but I would imagine you're correct. It's not going to be on the OG Xboxes. But I mean, Halo Infinite's going to look ridiculous on Series X, and so will Forza Motorsport 8. You know, like, I'm imagining Forza Motorsport 8 will probably even be like 120 frames.
I was going to say 120 frames.
X.
Yeah.
So like, they'll make sure that those games. Now, it'd be a failure in Microsoft's marketing to not properly show you why you need to buy Series X, right? Like, that would be on them not to show you, like, hey, look how much better it looks than Xbox One X, right?
Yeah.
So that would be on them to do it. But I'm sure it's Halo. They're going to go the extra mile to have that game look as pretty as it can possibly look. But I didn't think it was that big of an issue, because we knew Halo Infinite was cross-gen. We know Everwild is cross-gen. That was announced for Xbox One, and most of the third-party games are going to be cross-gen. So I didn't really see it that big of a deal, but everybody else does. Because most of the third-party games are going to be.
I don't think it's a huge deal, but I am. This is the first time that they're coming to a launch with no exclusives. The Xbox One had Killer Instinct, Forza, Crimson Dragon, and Dead Rising 3. Maybe they had a couple of exclusives, right?
Rise.
And Rise, Rise.
Yeah,
Rise was a big deal. That actually was like, you saw that, you're like, wow, okay, well, the 360's not playing this.
So it just feels a little kind of half-baked to me that they're going into this with really no exclusives. And I think I used this analogy on Nate's episode yesterday, but it's like going to Micro Center and buying a graphics card for your computer and upgrading your computer. That's what it feels like to me with this generation so far.
You're just old like us.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just. I don't know. I mean,
you want that jump, man.
I'm definitely. I think it's going to be a very, very powerful system. It's going to be a fantastic system. I just wish they had, that they just pushed harder to get something out this year. But hey, if it's truly that they're not quite ready with the new core operating system, then that's okay. I mean, I get it. It's they'll get there, but it's like, well, maybe they should have, come to the table with something this year, because Sony's definitely going to come with something. We know that. So, I think it's going to be a difficult battle for them, from the get-go to compete.
Yeah, Sony's bought a lot of third-party exclusives for the PlayStation 5 launch. Maybe Nate knows more than me, but I've already heard quite a bit of what games they've purchased for exclusivity reasons. Obviously, because I think they know they're not going to have any first-party games ready besides Gran Turismo, and they needed an extra reason to tempt people, because I don't think Horizon's going to be there at launch. I don't think God of War is going to be. I think God of War is 2022 Spider-Man.
That's a while.
They went and purchased a whole bunch of games.
Yep.
But I'm sure we'll find out whenever Sony does the reveal event. If they do a reveal event next month, I guess.
We assume they will, but I guess we'll find out about that. We'll see. Let's move over. While we're talking about Sony, actually, let's move over to the PlayStation VR 2. I don't even know how many people on here have the VR headset.
I do.
Oh, okay, cool. So, for some weird reason, I'm not really sure why, but we actually had a company in their financial statement to investors, I guess, or just explaining more about what they were doing coming up this year. They said that the PlayStation VR 2 is going to, or a new PlayStation VR headset's going to be unveiled alongside the PS5 and even sold this year, the PlayStation VR 2. And
not surprising at all.
And I had talked a little bit about this with Nate a little bit. And Nate, you believe that the PlayStation VR, the VR is going to be a focus for Sony this generation coming up.
Yeah, it still remains a focus for them. They're definitely going to focus on it more than we saw during the PS4 generation, because now they finally have the hardware power to basically have good VR.
Yeah, the PlayStation 4 just felt like it was never even designed for the VR, and they had to like do a lot of stuff to make it work, because you got that little booster box, you got all the stuff, cables are everywhere. They didn't even have HDR pass through until like some revision they did for the headset, so it wasn't great necessarily, but apparently a VR 2. And is there anything that people would like to see for this VR 2? What was that?
Wireless,
yeah, 100%. The biggest thing that I have PSVR. I actually have quite a few PSVR games. I never hook it up except for if it's like a party or something and I want to show people a Beat Saber, because actually constructing this thing takes sometimes 15 minutes. It's a pain. So
I gotta be honest, I'm the same way with it. I go, man, I don't really want to set this up.
Yes.
yeah.
Plus, you have to give it a cooldown when you turn it on, or else it fogs up right away with the heat from your face. You have to literally turn it on and let it sit for like 15-20 minutes so it can like equal itself out. There's a lot to it to set it up, and it's annoying.
If it was even one wire, if there was just one big cord that came out of the back and I plugged it into the PlayStation 4 and then that talked to the camera, like even that would be a million times more accessible.
I'll be honest. They need to have a good, like a really, really good game ready to go to next to it.
Resident Evil 8.
That thing's not going to be cheap.
Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah,
That's what they'll have.
That would actually do it, because the Index has been sold out for a while now. It's on back order for like next 4 months or something.
If they can get Half-Life Alyx, that thing is going to sell.
That'd be a big deal, actually.
I'd buy the hell out of that.
Yep, that'd be a big deal. Because that headset's going to cost some. That's going to cost some money. It's not going to be cheap. So that'll be interesting. Do you have any opinion on that, Rand, on the PlayStation VR 2?
I have the PSVR, and I was a skeptic on VR until I actually tried it and played Moss and played Astrobot, and I'm completely sold on VR. The problem for me, the wires, they're just too heavy. Like they just drape all over you, and after like an hour playing, I get like motion sickness. I actually threw up when I was playing Until Dawn, the little ride. I had to throw off the headset and run to the bathroom. Like I couldn't take that. But so I want to see like a slimmer headset, completely wireless. And if Half-Life Alyx is on there, I'll get it day one. I'm a huge Half-Life fan, but I am not gonna buy like that for the Oculus for the PC. But I would get PSVR 2 to play.
There's a lot of stuff they can do to work on that motion sickness as well. Unfortunately, the PlayStation VR headset, if you actually look at it, it's actually kind of archaic. It's pretty archaic now. Like if you really look at like the resolution of the screens and all this, that booster box I think raises the frame rate essentially, but it doesn't do it like. Well, it doesn't well
frame rate
enough.
Caps
I guess
out 90 hertz, I think, for the
PSVR. And there's some
PSVR.
tricks they do to do that. Like if they come out with a headset that is like, because they're the market leader now, so you assume they're really gonna make a push for it. If they can do a lot, then it'll actually be much better for an experience. So frame rate, screen door effect, there's a lot of stuff they can play around with to make it much better. But let's move over to Discord question. Evan, what you got for us?
This one's for you. He's wondering if you would ever run a YouTube series based on, I guess, chip development for video game consoles. I guess the process
Chip development
behind it.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I'd watch that, dude. That's actually a great suggestion.
I'll call up Intel and see if they'll let me in. All right. Or NVIDIA. Someone will let us in. I don't know. That sounds like MVG, you just did something on you did something on the intricacies of the Game Boy Color, right? For that.
Yes.
You thought about doing anything with like chips and game consoles, like just
I have.
different. Oh,
I have. It's nothing's set in stone yet, but yeah, I've got all sorts of ideas about deep diving into stuff like that because I find that stuff interesting. So
okay, yeah. That's actually not a bad idea for a series. I'll put it on.
Look into the motion chip stuff like that.
I'll put it on the. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I'll put it on the list here. What's another Discord question we got, Evan?
This one's, I guess, trying to figure this out. Grande HD Collection, I guess done by Gung Ho. They haven't really put out a physical release of it. This guy claims they contacted Limited Run Games, and Limited Run said they tried to contact Gung Ho, and they also said they weren't interested there either. So they're wondering what the purpose of not allowing a physical release, even in that situation. Why would they not do that?
It sounds like Gung Ho is still a really tiny developer, A. And B, they're still releasing a lot of patches. Even to this day, they're releasing more patches for Grady HD. I know because I'm still playing it and it still gets updates. So maybe they're just waiting for it to be totally done before they actually print it. We'll see. But okay. I hope we get it.
Nate, was that Street Fighter thing found to be fake?
The person just said it on Twitter that it's not.
Oh no, just said it.
Yoshinori Ono just said no. It's not. It's not real.
What is this? EB Games messing up, man.
Well, he said it's not real right now.
Well, hold on. Okay, Nate. All right. Look, what's going on tonight?
Well, I mean, right now is Evo Japan.
There you go. Okay.
If it's real, it would be officially announced in about 3 to 4 hours after the Street Fighter segment is completed at Evo Japan. If nothing happens after that, then it's EB Games Canada was just out of their minds and didn't know what the fuck they were tweeting.
So, okay, well, should we talk about that real quick then before we go over any of the super chats? Or do we have another Discord question, Evan?
2 more, kind of simple ones, I guess.
Let's just move over to this while we're on it now. Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition. Apparently was posted by EB Games Canada, which was basically GameStop. And they said that it is coming to the Switch, and this was a very strange thing because it was posted out of nowhere. Did they still have it up on their Twitter account, by the way? I think they took it.
I think they pulled it.
Did they? Oh.
Yeah.
They were probably in some trouble. All right. That one's interesting because that's supposed to be Sony's game with Capcom.
Uh-huh.
That's why I think it's throwing some people off real bad.
Yeah,
that's the game that that Sony funded alongside Capcom, right?
Yes.
So I think that's why that's throwing people. Although, to be fair, Capcom also said that they weren't going to do any more editions, and no, we're talking about the Champion Edition. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, no way. Where can I get this product? Oh, okay. Such item does not exist right now.
Thanks.
Keyword right now.
Right now. So I guess 3 to 4 hours. Keep an eye on Evo. You never know. It could be there.
I don't think so, because you remember, I think at the Evo last year where they had 3 characters on Steam that leaked.
That was really funny.
And they were really salty about it, really upset about it. This one feels different. It's like this doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yet.
Didn't they say that this Street Fighter 5 was going to be exclusive to PlayStation for the life of the title?
That's what we thought. Yeah.
So is the life of the title over, or because this is called something else, it's now a new title?
Right. The arcade.
That's the technicality.
That's what I'm unsure about. That'd be
they
weird.
seem to be shifting their entire tactic for the game over to a more as service game, because you can almost get it when you buy it, you're almost buying just a small bundle of fighters, and then you have to play to unlock the rest, or just pay for them. So,
let's think about this for a second here, because Sony is all right. So Horizon Zero Dawn, right, going to PC. That's good. There is a shift in tactics for Sony right now with some of this stuff, and I'll just ask, how many copies of Street Fighter 5 really sell?
10.
At least, I'll say 15.
Shut up.
No, it's sold around 2.5, I think, to 3 million total.
Yeah, it's not as much as 4, but it didn't just completely.
No, but I remember one
quarter out of the water.
I remember one
destroyed it.
Yeah. It was at 2.1 million or something, and then they updated, and it was 2.11 million over a quarter. I was like, wow, okay. So there are times where it just doesn't. It's basically not selling much anymore.
Street Fighter 4 fans don't like the game. It's just the people that played Street Fighter 4 played it, and they don't like the V trigger.
You kind of get what I'm seeing, what I'm saying here. They're looking at, they're like, man, we've like got as much as we can from just the PC and the PS4 platform. Do they start to look at other platforms around it as well? Kind of like, I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, yes, that would be going to PC. That's not necessarily the Xbox or the Switch. Maybe that's why it's throwing people off so bad with that. But I mean, they're a little different now. You never know. I guess it's possible.
There's inherent problems though with Street Fighter 5. I mean, it's still kind of buggy as hell on a lot of like on PC still. Like you'll run into situations where the frames just drop horrendously for no reason. Because
Street Fighter sold all right on the Switch from what I remember.
Yeah.
So like
Street Fighter 4?
Yeah.
No, you mean Street Fighter 30th anniversary?
There was the collection, and then there was just the one they launched. It was around launch of the Switch, right? That one.
Yeah, the Street Fighter 2
HD remix.
Yeah.
Those both sold well. The collection and that one, they both sold well.
That's all I could think of is like Capcom was like, hey, let's move this around here. Let's see if we can get some more sales. I don't know. It would be interesting to see that. I mean, we just saw another fighting. We just talked about the rating for Mortal Kombat collection the other day. So you never know, because that was supposed to be canceled at one point. So you never know. It'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on Evo tonight. Should we keep an eye on Evo, Nate?
I wouldn't. I'd get some sleep.
Okay. Never mind then. It's just killing the hype there. Okay, Nate. What's the Discord question, Evan?
It seems recently, for about a year now, console wars are over, peace treaties signed, and everyone is united against a common enemy, Stadia. Thoughts?
Stadia doesn't need an army to go against it. Stadia tripped over its own feet and stabbed itself through the neck.
That's an awesome comment. That's just like awesome. I love the idea of being like, this is it. We must slay it.
Have you seen what xCloud is doing in preview right now? Like,
xCloud's already pissing all over that. Like it's not
I have
even
on my phone, and they were just like, yeah, here's another like 15 games, and like one of them's Destiny 2, and I'm like, but that was like Stadia showed up and they were like, guys, we got Destiny 2, and then xCloud silently added Destiny 2. Like it was.
How much money do you think they lost on that venture?
They're in it for 3 years, so they're going to be losing money for a while.
How much money do you think they're losing in this venture?
So I researched it. I tried to do some research for a video that I did this week, and I think they spent hundreds of millions of dollars setting up the infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's out.
Oh no, they found
it. They did a bunch of I got Stadia boys. They
got Stadia.
They Stadia. They hired. You gotta think they hired a lot of the biggest names in like gaming, streaming and stuff. So they did not expect it to bomb this bad. I mean, straight up, they did not expect it to bomb this bad.
Can I say something about Stadia? Like, I don't know why they were so damn confident that if they hire who's the bald Echo Chrome dude? What's his name? What's his name? I forgot what his name is.
You're talking about the guy with the track record of terrible ideas that all seem to flop.
Phil Harrison? Yeah, that dude. Like,
real.
From Pawn Stars?
Or whatever that dude is. Like, they hire him. They hire Jay. They hire all these people. They think, oh, well, yeah, all these names. They get, what's his name? It's a game theory. They get game theory, dude. And they think that, that's going to make it. And that's all of a sudden going to make everybody get into Stadia. No, you need, like, games. You need stuff. You can't just say there's going to be a promise of it. You actually need stuff. So I find it hilarious that they thought that, we can just hire a bunch of names and all of a sudden people are just going to be interested in this. Like, nah, like it was a train wreck. Like Dreamcast guy was making videos. John, we all made videos like, dude, this isn't going to work. And dude, it's not working. Nobody gives a shit.
The craziest thing I've ever freaking heard that I feel like people don't realize, here we are 2 months after launch, there still isn't voice chat. Voice chat is impossible on Stadia.
Oh.
Well, you could always just use your phone, like the Switch.
Or use your phone. Discord.
Yeah, but it's Google. Shouldn't you not have to?
Yeah, right.
Hey, to be fair, for the Switch, there are some games that don't have that have voice chat built in. There you go.
Yeah, but at least Stadia's online's free.
It's only online.
Kind of. I mean, right now you got to pay just to play it. You got to pay just to be a part of it right now.
I can't wait to play old version.
This thing is $10 a month just to play the game.
You never need to patch any games. I mean, they're all just like 2 years old, but whatever.
Shit.
Man.
Yeah, Stadia's already. I guarantee Google's already looking at it saying, yeah, whatever we have in development, we'll finish that up and then we're killing it.
It's got to be around they have 3 years.
3-year contracts.
We figured this out.
They got to put it into a service or they're done.
That's why they put out that whole thing. You saw that letter they put out recently, and it was like we're gonna buy some timed exclusives. We're gonna have like 100 games showing up. I'm like, dude, 100 games hit the eShop yesterday. Okay, so like,
it's gonna be those
some
type
of them are terrible, but
until
they did
Stadia gets Caveman Jack, they ain't got nothing.
Hey, they got 10 exclusives, man. They're about to pick up Caveman Jack 2 over there.
Caveman Jack, bro, that game ain't sexist though. For real though, it's really not.
You gotta watch that footage when it comes about money. Just watch that intro. Be like, that's real.
This is a thing. Someone made this.
I really sat there. I was like, he's really fantasizing that his wife has been abducted, and he just realized, shit, she makes me food. I need her.
Did we ever get a price on this game?
No, I didn't Google it.
Oh, hold on. My Neo Geo.
If it's anything more than $5,
my Neo Geo Pocket Color alarm was going off. All right.
The funny thing about all this was how much
shit I've ever heard you say.
Dude, it's right here.
It gets worse if you know.
People don't realize it has an alarm. This thing has an alarm built in.
Okay, go ahead.
It has an alarm. I was doing a video on it, and you leave an alarm,
awesome.
and I set an alarm because it's set for like 10:30, I think, is when it's set for Eastern, and it'll actually wake itself up and like go off.
Dude, that's actually really awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's one of the first handhelds that actually had like a full like
back office,
back office menu and everything. You have a calendar you can set up in it. It's very interesting. What were you talking about? Stadia? Yes,
we were talking about Caveman.
How much was that?
Caveman Chuck.
Yeah, how much is it?
Oh, it's Chuck.
It's $5 Canadian.
I thought it was Jack.
It's $5 Canadian.
Jack,
so it's like $3 American.
Oh wait, you said $5 Canadian. Is that like how you have to buy it? Do you have to go to the Canadian eShop? What are you doing?
I don't know. Someone put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. There we go.
You're gonna trust the chat.
I wasn't gonna go get my Switch to check.
Wow.
Okay, so the Street Fighter thing is no go, I guess. So we'll stay up for that. Evan, Discord question.
The last one, the guy's just asking me if I have plans for the 200th episode shirt design, and I do. Nothing's really working right now, but I'm thinking of
That's
stuff.
Right. I mean, we still got like a year to go then.
Yeah,
right?
we got a little ways to go, so I have some time. Yeah. And knowing me, I'm going to put it off till just before, so it'll be good.
We got a year. We got a year. When I got that sweet surface to like draw on.
Oh yeah.
You know. So there you go. Okay. There we go. That'll be interesting. I'll be curious because last time you did the 100th episode, you put literally all the guests on there. So that was cool. That was neat.
I love that shirt. Did I tell you when I got mine, Dreamcast gal immediately stole it. That's why I wore it on SpawnCast once, and she saw it and she was like, "And this is mine now." So it's
that's what
cool.
love is.
It's great.
It's a badass shirt, man.
Yeah, I wore it at E3 last year. I was walking around wearing mine.
Depending on cost, we do have access to all over print hoodies. So I was debating just doing an all over print of something. So
whoa,
yes,
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Evan.
Do it.
Let me go over some of these super chats real quick. There's one that just it's just a symbol. It just says message. It's message deleted. I guess that their name.
I didn't see what they wrote, and then they just redacted it. Like they just took it out. I don't know.
There we go. Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one from Angry785 saying predictions for games at PS5 reveal event.
I'll be honest. I've seen a bunch of people. I've seen a bunch of people guessing Final Fantasy 16. Normally, they usually show the next Final Fantasy about like 3 or 4 years into like 3 or 4 years before launch. It's been a while since Final Fantasy 15. I think the entire Final Fantasy 15 cycle has completely run its course. I do think that if we get a reveal event, they're going to be like 16.
Well, I mean, that would make me want to buy a PS5. All right.
Well,
yeah.
Sony is notorious for showing off something and then releasing it 2 years after. So I think we'll see a glimpse of God of War. I think we'll see a glimpse of Spider-Man. I think we'll see a glimpse of some of the big stuff that they're planning for the next couple of years.
I'm all in it for Horizon. I think we're going to see a little bit of Horizon and Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't know about God of War just yet, but I do think we're going to see some big stuff for like Horizon or Spider-Man.
I feel like Corey's tweeting on Twitter too much to be out of war stuff coming out.
Or maybe a new Killzone, Shadowfall 2.
Oh, do we see We see Demon Souls.
And maybe.
Maybe. I hope so, but I don't know.
Nope. Blue Point's redoing Ape Escape. All right. Good.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I mean, that's still coming.
What do you think, Rand? Actually, I guess what do you think, Rand? You got any predictions?
Horizon Zero Dawn 2, House Marquee's next game.
Yeah, I thought it was House 3.
Well, yeah, however you say it, House Marquee, House Mark, their next game. The Demon Souls game. Maybe Spider-Man. I don't. It depends though, because like, is it an event like it was for the PlayStation 4, where they invite the press, or is it going to be a state of play, or like I don't. I guess once we figure out what type of event it's going to be, then you can kind of.
Well, they'd have to send, because apparently people were talking about how with in 2013 when they did it, they sent out invites like a month in advance. So if it's going to be in February and they follow the same idea, it would be next week that they would send them out.
Every day I get on YouTube and I get on the internet, I see new rumors about new PS5 reveal with new games like every single day. Oh, now it's on the 5th, and now it's on the 12th, and now it's on the 16th. And
yeah, that's because a lot of them are out of 4chan and other like anonymous boards where people just like post whatever. So
Order 1887.
There hasn't really been anything solid for a date. Where a lot of people are just assuming February because that's what they did last time, and that would give them enough runway to then do what they say they're going to do, which is go around to a bunch of events to show it and like do community stuff, I guess, because they're not doing E3. So I don't know. We'll see. I assume February makes sense for them, but they could do March. They could just
because I think April's going to have I think Xbox is going to have a media event in April.
Sure, that makes sense.
Or May. So I would expect Sony to show first, but I don't know. Like I was convinced it was February. I'm not too sure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's just like a new Wired article? Here you go. Here's an article from Wired.
It
whatever.
It could just be like a giant Nintendo Direct thing. It could just be like an hour-long pre-done,
like pre-recorded.
Yeah, like no physical people there to look at the box. They just do it as like, here's a movie-length thing of trailers and hype.
I guess the idea of doing the live thing with press is that the press would get to go hands-on then with like if you don't have a hands-on system, the only other thing you'd get out of it are interviews, and they could do that otherwise, like over email even or something. So that's the only reason I think they would call them out, is if they could give them at least 1 or 2 games for them to play on a show floor or a demo booth or something.
I don't know, man. I think with Sony not going to E3 again, I think they're going to want to do their own thing and actually have like an event,
Yeah, I agree.
And actually show it off and just say, hey, this is what it's about. You're gonna have who's the dude? Who's the Grinch looking dude? What's his name?
Mark Cerny.
Mark Cerny, yeah, that guy. They're gonna have Mark Cerny.
Mark Cerny's the Grinch
looking dude. Like they're gonna
how the Cerny stole Christmas.
Yeah, how the Cerny stole the PS5. Anyway, but no, I think they're gonna have him come up and like talk about like what makes it good and like all that.
It was
stuff.
really funny last time because you could tell he knew how obviously everything worked, but then he would like turn to the audience and be like, how do I explain this to everyone who's sitting here watching this?
I like that guy.
He was trying really hard to explain some very advanced stuff that was going on screen. He was trying to like translate it to like all of us normal people, right?
OJ
From
likes
what he
that
was doing as
Grinch looking
system
dude.
architecture. So it was he was fine there. He was good on stage there. So
yeah, he was good on stage. I think they're going to bring him out and let him kind of talk about stuff. And I think that it's going to be easier to explain this time because I'm not sure if there's going to be as many like. It's not going to be like that big of a difference. I mean, it's kind of like going what they're doing and like making it better. And maybe they can just explain some of the cool features because there's been those rumors that like there's some unexpected features that we haven't heard about yet. So maybe we hear about maybe we hear about those at this point. So I'm
maybe it has 2 HDMI ports and one connects to your TV and you can watch TV through it.
TV.
That no one's done that. That'd be revolution.
Maybe when you turn it on, the jingle the PS5 plays is "Shut up, friends."
Yo, now I'm sold.
Yo, did they hit us with backwards compatibility fully at this event?
No.
You still stuck on that PS3, huh?
Yeah, no, they won't do that.
Okay. Still stuck on the PS3 stuff. And then we have Christian says, do you guys think that there will be lots of good games on new systems launch, or will mostly crap games on current systems? Like basically, like will the launch games not be great or good enough? Because launch lineups are usually
normally launch lineups are pretty bad. I'm hopeful. I'm hoping that we get like one really good launch game for each console.
Well, at least we know Halo Infinite. Like that's a Halo game will sell a system.
Halo Infinite is going to be a baller. I'm hoping we get something like maybe I'm just being hopeful. I do think that we may see Horizon Zero Dawn in the first like 3 months, the PS5, which would be cool.
I think it's a launch window. I think that's an early 2021 game. I think February, March. Well,
they've been working on it forever. Like there were leaks about the voice acting being like heavily done a year ago. So
yeah, once the first game was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty popular. They're like, all right, let's screw Killzone. We're just gonna keep working on Horizon.
Even the DLC was massive for that too. So they got a lot of open doors.
It'll be cool because we had the original Halo back on the Xbox, but its launch window basically, and then we'll have Infinite.
Yeah, I think Cyberpunk and Doom and all the cool stuff that's coming out this year is going to run amazingly well on the next gen.
Compatible, yeah.
So I think it's. I wouldn't say it's all going to be average. I think it's going to be pretty awesome, even though again no exclusives. But I mean, I think there's going to be some good stuff that will play on the Series X.
The jump from that VCR to the Series X would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
Nate, you're still using that VCR right now, dude. That jump to the Series X.
Don't hate the VCR.
I will hate that VCR all day. That thing has nothing going for it.
It's big.
If someone breaks in your house, you can beat them to death with it. It's really nice.
Like it has nothing.
Like that would be a crazy episode of Forensic Files.
You get
killed by an Xbox VCR, bro. Like I'd be down for that.
Like you either get the series, you get the Xbox One S, or you get the X. You don't buy the VCR.
Hey, all I know is if I have to go on a raid, I'm bringing the VCR with me, and I'm going to win. I will truck that thing everywhere.
I do like the idea of you just throwing it, just throwing it at somebody.
I did drop it on a Switch.
I dare you to drop it on a GameCube and then truck the remaining.
Oh, dude, the GameCube's a tank. What do you? The GameCube has a handle. That thing is meant to be like thrown around. The GameCube's fine. No problems there. Now it's not an original Xbox. That'll hurt somebody. Like that is
the GameCube is the GameCube's durable as hell. I remember one time I was like trying to be like Dragon Ball Z, and I did like a Kamehameha with my GameCube. Like I went and it hit the wall, and that game it played the Dragon Ball game on there, no problem. Right afterwards, it was good.
GameCube's solid, man. GameCube's solid.
Very durable.
Alcatraz says, have any of you played Oddworld Stranger's Wrath on Switch yet? I did download it. I have not played it yet, but I did download it.
I've only played it on Vita when they did the remake on Vita.
I liked it on the original Xbox actually quite a bit. That was back when like Oddworld was really kicking it at the time because they had Munch's Odyssey and those are the days right there. And I think most of those are going to come to the Switch as well for Oddworld fans. Then there's supposed to be the new Oddworld game, I think, coming this year. Yeah, it's supposed to be this year, I think. We'll see. They don't have a date for it or really anything at this point. But Stranger's Wrath, I liked it on the Xbox. From what I've seen with some reviews that have come out and impressions, it plays fine on the Switch. So, Christian says, "Is it worth it to buy a console steering wheel?"
Yes.
It depends. I have the steering wheel. I have the steering wheel for Dreamcast, and I got to tell you, playing Crazy Taxi with it is actually fantastic.
Okay, I like the one for the 360 back then that had the force feedback. That one was pretty cool. And we got that. What was that one we had traded in Evan at one point to the store that was like a Ferrari steering wheel? We looked it up. And it was like $800.
Was it Ferrari? Or was it Lamborghini? It was one of the big brands, but the thing had like force feedback and everything on it. It was ridiculous.
I had a steering wheel for the M64. And I could play Diddy Kong Racing with it, and it was.
You need one of those hydraulic rigs.
Yeah,
an actual chair that you sit in, and man.
I remember one of my cousins was really
for a tax return for that.
Back in the day, and they had like the full seat, like they fashioned the whole seat and the steering wheel. And this is on the PS1, and this thing was like you see the visuals, it looks terrible, but they were dead set
I'm
about
sorry. if you don't got like the arcade experience, like Cruising USA, it's ass. That's just my opinion. I used to have one at home, like I think on the Dreamcast or something, and it's not the same. You need to go into the arcade, sit in that thing, and use the gear, and like you need to do it. If it's not like that, then I can't experience.
Just go to a junkyard and just get a bucket seat and just put it in front of your TV. You're fine.
That's legit.
Let's see. Have you here we go. Juice Man Vaughn, when was the last time anyone on the SpawnCast played anything on Stadia?
About a month ago.
I played Stadia last week.
I played 2 weeks ago.
Wow, what'd you play, Nate?
Thumper.
Oh, why? That's a rhythm game.
It's a great game.
Ugh.
If you hate on Thumper,
no, I just mean like through Stadia, like.
I wanted to see how well it would have worked, and it didn't work that well. I couldn't do like the more advanced techniques in the game, and then after the first level, I was like, "Yeah, I'll just play this on the Switch or on PSVR. You're not good here."
Oh gosh, I played it last week. I just wanted to jump on just to see. My Chromecast doesn't overheat anymore because I glued heat sinks to the top of it. So it's fine now. It still gets very hot. Like the heat sinks get hot on top. I might wire a fan to that thing. I don't know. We'll see. But they added a few things. Like you don't have to buy through the phone anymore. Like you can buy it through the menu. That was an actual update, by the way. Yes, you couldn't buy stuff on the Chromecast or in Stadia. You had to use your phone to buy stuff to then go on your Stadia to play. They fixed that. That's fine now. But otherwise, it was just Destiny 2. I don't know. I played on the big thing is 60 frames per second. It's like I'm gonna play it on my PC. It's fine. Damn, I don't know. It's Stadia. It's just a depressing silence.
Wow, everyone's so excited.
I feel depressed right now.
Like, man, it's Stadia.
Ending the show on a letdown.
Stadia gets the participation medal, right?
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
You think there's a better chance of Amazon's cloud streaming servers to be better?
And they just need to understand everything more. Like Google just doesn't understand what's going on. Like I don't know how they have not tied Stadia to Fortnite in some way.
Right.
Like it's a free-to-play game. They have a free-to-play version of Stadia
coming up. Could you imagine them popping up and
just
being
tie
like,
all that together
and being like, you could play like 200 players on the Stadia version or something? Like,
yeah, like there's some cool stuff they could do, and they talked about all of that. They talked a big game with it too, and they haven't done anything with it. I think Grid lets you do a 40-car race or something. That's their big thing, and it's like,
whoa. Yeah, and how many people are playing that on Stadia? Like 20?
I would be very concerned about being able to complete a 40-car race. Yeah,
40-car race. 12 people have the.
I'm telling you, man. Apparently, Destiny 2 is struggling right now. Yeah. So I hope so, Rand. I hope so. I hope Amazon has a better run at it, but they have to be looking at Stadia, and they got to be like,
yes
maybe
and no.
Think this.
I feel like they've also been dealing with Twitch and stuff too, and Twitch is.
I mean, here's what Amazon needs to do.
Now.
Here's what they need to do. They need to look at it more like a utility rather than a replacement for our consoles or PC. If you want to, like, let's say you're out somewhere and you want to rent a game before you buy it, and you don't have anything with you, and you can just rent it, like you're at, like, I don't know, maybe you're staying on vacation, or maybe you had to travel or something to a friend or a parent's house or a family member, and you're like, I kind of want to play Borderlands 3 tonight. Let me rent it for 48 hours. Here's $3, and you just stream it. Like that makes way more sense to me than let me buy this game for $60 and then I'll just stream it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I just wanted to say that statement.
Okay, go ahead, Rand.
Funniest thing about this to me, seeing how Destiny's come out and fallen flat on its face, is how much Xbox and PlayStation were worried about it. Because I know Microsoft was, man, they were worried. Every single one of their decisions was reactive to Google's. I'm not kidding. Like when they did the original announcement with this, like all their announcements were reactive to Google because they were terrified. Maybe not necessarily of the platform, but I think they were terrified of Google's deep pockets. That
I can see that.
Buy a whole bunch of stuff. And now, like, thinking back on that, it's like, man, that's kind of a joke, huh? Like that they were that scared of it.
They should really be concerned about what they should be concerned about was Google's control and their reach, because, like, you know, a lot of people use YouTube and other means, obviously, of using Google, so they control a lot of that.
Stuff doesn't work, right? Like the YouTube integration?
No, doesn't work yet. Not yet.
Yep.
They don't have the they don't have the
Like, here's the
in-same
trailer for a
screen.
game.
Yeah, they don't have the in-same screen mini screens for your friends playing still. Like
What they did was they launched a paid beta, basically, is what they did. So
Yeah, they launched a piece of crap.
dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be straight up. On Live had better stuff than this right now. Okay, I'm be straight with you. On Live,
On live.
dude, you could no. On Live, what did you just name? You could look around, you could watch, you could spectate other people's games, and you could actually join in at that time on Live.
Does Stadia even have that YouTube integration up and running yet?
No.
Like,
No.
So all the things they hyped up, they still haven't even launched.
They have to have something in the works though, specifically because they have all these big streamers coming over. Like they have to be working on something. They just signed over like 3 more big names.
The other day, the other week, their big epiphany was that achievements started working.
Oh my
But
god.
these are the things you have to launch with. You can't be hyping up all these functions and then launch it and just be like, we have Destiny 2. Like, wow, Google.
Dude,
Everything has Destiny 2.
What did you say, OJ? You went into Best Buy and they wouldn't let you leave without a copy of Destiny 2. They were like, here's your copy of Mario Maker 2, but you got to take Destiny with you.
They're like, here's your Destiny. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, no, sir, here's your Destiny. Somebody like stopped me. He's like, you need to get your copy of Destiny.
I mean, if you stop at a traffic light, I think panhandlers were handing you a copy of Destiny 2.
They were like dead ass serious, like, bro, you better take this copy of Destiny or there's gonna be problems. We're gonna
Like the same as Fallout 76, right?
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
Yeah, they would not let me leave without taking that copy. I was like, all right, I'll
man.
take it. Just let me out of the store.
You're like, fine, ring it up.
And then you go home and they're like, oh, we're launching with Destiny 2. And you're like, what? All right, I guess. They say they're going to be aggressive this year, so we'll see. Miguel says, Jordan, I loved your Dante's Inferno video. Bro, fire.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Moonman Moo says, raid, please. So we'll have to come up with a raid. If anyone has anyone that's streaming right now, we can figure that out.
Oh, I thought he meant the game.
Oh.
Raid, Shadow Legends.
We might need to give Nate time to breathe here.
Shut up, Nathan.
Square.
Myself.
Indy K says Square Enix will announce Final Fantasy 16 before the PS5 release and release it after the PS6 release. Okay, stop. Hold on a minute.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask this question right here, right now. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask this question right here, right now. January 25th, 2020. Will they have the complete edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake ready to go on the PS5, or will that thing fall to the PS6?
I think we'll see it all on the PlayStation 5.
You think so?
I honestly think that the PlayStation 5 is probably going to be another 8-year console cycle.
It might be the last thing that comes out on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was gonna
Exactly.
say, how many parts we doing a Final Fantasy VII Remake? Like 4?
Maybe.
That makes, yeah, I think 4 is a good bet.
What if it's like 3-year development between each one?
I feel like it can't be. I feel like the hard part was building the physics and combat. If they redo the whole game every episode, which would be just some crackhead shit, I mean, then we'll see.
Then we have Mad B Red saying happy year of Sonic. I know Jordan must be excited.
Oh boy.
All right, there we go.
Good
Great.
times.
Look forward to the 20th of every month, Jordan. There you go.
Green Hill Zone.
Mike says, Spawn, do we have an Oculus Quest teardown coming? Been waiting for you to tear one down apart since day one. I should do that at some point. That's actually not a bad idea. There are some things in motion to make sure that TechWave looks really, really cool soon. So
You know what else you need to do?
what's that?
Play Ring Fit.
Do what? What?
Play
hold
Ring
on.
Fit.
Play Ring Fit? Yeah, well, I don't know. I might play
I was
Ring
happy
Fit. We'll
you
see.
finally opened it.
No,
This man is so jacked, he's just going to break the ring as soon as he starts.
actually,
I
they
did
had
wanna
some
see-
WWE wrestlers play, and they were like, "Holy shit, this thing gets crazy on some of these."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real workout. It's
Yeah.
good.
I could see you on level 30 doing it.
I'll try it just to see.
What's the highest level?
30.
It's really no. The actual ring is very strong. It's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good like strength fiberglass. So it's It'd be pretty hard. I don't know if you could break it.
It's also basically a power glove. You figure it out.
It's very, very difficult. Yes, but now they do. The problem is that some of the stuff they do in there for like you were saying, wrestlers, Nate, were doing it. Some of the stuff they have you do is not ideal for bigger guys to do, like muscular guys to do. Some of the stuff they ask you to do in it is not.
Yeah, so
like some of the movements and motions and stuff.
It's usually all optional. You can customize it.
They were really like exerting themselves, where they were like, "No, screw this game." And it's like you can bench like 500 pounds, and you're cursing at a little plastic toy.
Well, just because they can bench doesn't mean they have cardio. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Big E has cardio. Of course, Sean's not here the one time I need him.
I believe that's a good joke.
Friggin' eating idiot.
Oh gosh. How did raisins? I don't understand how he sat down with let me eat all these raisins.
I'm telling you, there weren't raisins, man.
He's the only dude I know that got like raisin.
Like, what do you do?
poisoning.
Eat a little box? Like you give your kids like 12 in them and it killed them?
I just all ate them in the handful, and then they got like.
He just walked on his back porch, found them on the ground, and just picked them up and ate them. Come on,
Nate, you gotta.
He found raisins. He goes, "These are either cockroach babies or they're raisins, and I'm gonna eat them and find out."
Nate, did you guys? I thought you guys were gonna do like a wrestling thing.
No, me and
like
friends
a
are gonna box.
Podcast. No, like a podcast, like a show. What happened to that?
Yeah, we're gonna box. Buy tickets
That's
for a
Sean.
wrestling or boxing event, whatever we're doing.
I mean, you guys sit around and watch that. You might as well get something out of it.
That's Sean. I mean, that was Sean's initiative.
Came up with the best name too. I'm not gonna say it here because that's a big reveal.
Sean, listen, Sean's never gonna start
gonna
that
be out
channel.
of business by the time Sean launches the damn thing.
Mr. Kane says Chibi Robo is $100. Will GameCube games come to Switch? I hope so, because I'm collecting some of these GameCube games right now. I have a whole stack. Maybe I'll do a video for that tomorrow for an update on that collection. Some of these games are expensive, man. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. MVG knows.
Yes.
I'm looking up some of these games. I can't believe how much they are right now. Like because I remember them like 5-6 years ago being half the price.
GameCube is the collector's sweet spot right now. You know, I think the NES and Super NES have kind of peaked, and I'm not saying they've fallen, but they've kind of peaked. Now it's the GameCube and the PS2.
Yeah,
they're the big high dollar games.
I looked at that PS2 collection. I was like, maybe I should try that next. Whew. Dude, that is a task.
Yeah, that's gonna drain your bank account.
You said original Xbox. You said original Xbox, good one to go after.
You could probably put together like 85% of the OG Xbox collection pretty cheap, but obviously there's the the rare stuff as well. But that's probably one good one to still go for, especially in North America.
Okay, very cool. Hey, you never know. Maybe the Series X is like heavily backwards compatible to the point where you pop them all in. I don't know.
Man, I hope so.
That'd be cool. East KY Retro says Nintendo being too quiet on releases. Do you guys think it hurts them? Ideas on selling subscription monthly for Nintendo.
Nintendo does directs. That's when new games.
Oh, direct maybe in like I don't know. We say it every time. I don't know. Direct in February. Probably in February at this point.
Never.
They do the same thing every year. They're not when there's directs. They announce games.
Last year it was February.
Yeah,
last year was February. Yes.
February or March. They usually do February or March.
Wait,
sometimes
are you telling me
or January?
When there's a direct, they announce games?
I know it's something
that's when Nintendo announces games at directs?
Yes, at directs.
I don't know if you missed this either, Fringe, but they put out like they're planning for 2020 and they showed us the games, and at the bottom they said and more to come.
More? They're gonna have more games this year besides Animal Crossing?
I know.
Yeah, but Jordan, did you see the date that they put on that SpongeBob game for you, man?
That they messed up on the first print, and then now they're claiming is not even real at all. That May 22nd. I hope it's at PAX. If that's the date, if that date's anywhere true, it should be at PAX.
Oh yeah, PAX. Shit.
Selling
PAX. It's happened
monthly for Nintendo.
Like monthly subscriptions to what?
I don't know, because they already do the $20. I said they should do their own retro Netflix type thing with all of the retro games in it and just sell.
Yeah, that would require Nintendo to actually put out retro games,
right? Since
they're content on releasing about 4 games every 3 months.
Yeah, they pretty much they put that writing out there. They're like, we'll release them when we want to.
Like, we're giving you Super NES games. Here's a ton. We'll put out more whenever we feel like it. Don't ask when they come out because we're not going to tell you.
what's gonna be wild is Square is gonna put out like Chrono Trigger and like Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 or something, and none of them are gonna be in that app. They're all gonna be sold separately on the eShop.
Mm-hmm.
If they give us the DS version of Chrono Trigger, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
No,
that's fine.
Oh, okay.
It'll be the mobile phone version. Don't worry.
No, that one's junk.
The terrible Steam version.
I'm telling you. Chief says, y'all ready for the System Shock remake?
Yes.
I was so concerned because at one point they said it wasn't going to happen. I thought they put it on like hold or something, and then they said nope, we're going to do it now. We're good. So there was some concern there, man. People were holding their breath on that one. They're a little worried, but that's cool. That's cool. We'll check that out when it drops. But yeah, I know Max. I'm sure you were excited for that. When I read System Shock, I was like, yeah, that's Max. He's
I've never been able to beat it. The original version was too hard for me. I've never been able to beat it. So this remake will actually be my first time ever seeing all of it. I'm super excited.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I remember loading on PC. Feels like forever ago. So I'm gonna check it back out again now, to see how it is. I think that is. Do we have another Discord question, Evan?
No, we're all good there.
We're good there. Let me just double check Streamlabs this time. I'll do that this time. We'll make sure. Let's see. Matthew Hammond says, which will it come out first, the Switch Pro or the new Switch OS and eShop store revamp?
One of those exists.
I would like to think that the eShop revamp happens. That thing needs it. My gosh. It needs it bad.
Neither.
You're just saying Nintendo's not going to do any of that.
Nope.
No.
This is what we get.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, neither is my answer.
This is what we get for buying 1-2 Switch so much. We get. This is what we get.
Nice job, everyone.
Neither. I'm gonna say an eShop revamp because that's something that can just be pushed, just whenever. Like they can randomly show up and be like, "Oh, yep, the eShop's not terrible to navigate anymore." There you go.
Some 64 games that'd be cool too.
That's not happening.
Or some GameCube.
Well, then they got to sell the 64 mini first. And they'll do it.
Yeah,
when
that's not happening.
Ian says, "Happy New Year to you all, the Chinese New Year."
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Chinese New Year.
And then Jeff Burns says, I have only owned one PlayStation console ever, and Sony messed with me because it died 30 days after I got it. They wouldn't do anything to fix it and told me to buy a new one. It was a PS1 in '99. Wow. So I have not played any PlayStation exclusives. What happened? The PS1, I think the only issue that I would ever run into with it was the disc drive. And
usually disc drive related.
Yeah.
We just flipped the thing upside down back then.
I think once in a while it was the actual rail for it. You had to get it cleaned.
Because remember that was the laser in that one, the original Xbox, the disc drive stopped kicking out over time. That was that problem. And the PS2 had all kinds of issues. Oh gosh,
it was horrible for that stuff.
It's all over the place.
We used to. I had an Xbox, an original Xbox, and the disc drive stopped working for so long. We used to just pry it open with a screwdriver, and that just became normal. Of like you pried it open, and you put the disc in, and just shoved it closed. It's like,
oh man. I think that's it for that. Did we figure out anyone to raid? Anyone have any ideas?
Shadow Legend.
Let's while we're finding somebody ready to go around here.
I want to see if there's a channel called Raisins that we can raid.
Oh my god, that'd be so good.
Let's thanks to our guest tonight, Randall Thor 19. Thanks for joining us, man. Can you let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a great time with you guys. If you want to check out my content, it's youtube.com/RandallThor19. I mostly talk about Xbox, but I will talk about PlayStation and stuff. So thanks for having me.
Cool. Rand has a great podcast, Xbox 2. Everybody should watch it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we do. Me and Jez Corden of Windows Central do a weekly podcast. Couldn't do one this week because I streamed with OBS. And YouTube would not see it, so I could not go live on YouTube's end. And I don't know. I'm trying to still figure it out, but YouTube would not see it, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah, Hangouts made a lot of that very easy. I miss Hangouts.
Same.
What about Jordan?
Me?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well. You can find me on the battlefield on No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that'd be an easy like lead into like a sponsorship
That'd be a great plug, but no, I make.
You realize we just gave them a bunch of free advertising on here, like straight up anyway.
I mean, at this point, it's all just a meme, so
that's good.
It's all good.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I make collecting Pokemon content. Sorry, Rand. But yeah, you can find me on anything. Just search up Jordan Fringe.
Okay. What about OJ?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube. I'm coming back to YouTube in terms of live streaming February. So early February, my 3-month sentence will be up. So I'll be free then. So I'll be back to streaming on YouTube. And I do regular content on YouTube as well. So you can just Player Essence. You can find me there. And also I stream on Twitch. So you can check me out, Twitch TV / Player Essence. And yeah, I got some cool stuff coming up this week. Got a big video, Switch video on Monday. So that should be fun.
How big?
And yeah, look forward to more Switch content, Japanese content, RPGs, all that good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then Miss Click.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Sorry, I was so quiet tonight. Just not feeling my best, but I'm here.
You are here. Yep, you toughed it out. Yeah, and Sean ate some raisins and couldn't be here, but
yeah, it's all right.
You resisted the raisins.
Sean ate some fruit and he's just out.
I've had a migraine
Healthy
all day.
things,
I'm
no.
here. He has a little tummy aching.
Thanks for having me. You can find me on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming. Eventually videos are gonna be putting back out, kind of working on some new stuff for my new year. It's not really my new year yet. And then you can find me every day live, except for Sundays, on Twitch at twitch.tv/missclick_live. And that's basically my domain, kind of. So yeah, everywhere else you can just find me on missclickgaming.com.
Cool. And then Max.
youtube.com/dreamcast guy. It sounds like I may be playing a very interesting game soon and talking about it. I can't say anything more yet, but it sounds like I'll get to show some of the first gameplay for a game that was shown at E3 last year. So that should be fun. That should be very soon on the channel.
Then MVG.
Thanks for having me on the show. You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G, YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. Monday's video is all about OG Xbox. So Xbox fans, check it out. Thanks for having me on.
Cool. And then Nate.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at DirectFeedGames. I have some gameplay footage coming up on Monday of a few recent or upcoming Switch releases like Caveman Chuck. And tomorrow I will have an hour-long discussion video that MVG and myself did on the Nate the Hate channel, where we talk about the Series X, the marketing Microsoft will have to do to make it successful, whether or not the exclusive plans they have will damage it, how that will impact developers, some hypotheticals about the PS5 launch lineup, and our predictions of which of the two systems we think will fare the best next gen. So that's definitely a video to be on the lookout for. Be up sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, it's exciting. We're getting a new Nate the Hate video.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of hate in it.
I'm wearing the shirt.
And it's how long?
56 minutes.
Oh boy.
But I do have to warn people, the audio does get weird because OBS is a piece of crap. And it corrupted the sound.
My fiance loves your icon or whatever, your channel art. She thinks it's cool. She doesn't
She's
know what the
welcome
hell you're
for
talking about. Yeah, but she does like it. She said it's really cool. So I just want to relay that message to you. I wanted me to tell you that.
You hear that, Evan?
No, I heard it. I got
it.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time next week. Did we ever find anyone to raid at all?
People keep saying Yellow Kazoo's doing something.
Okay, if we got a link, you want to drop it in the chat for everybody, and then
breaking news: the Street Fighter tweet was an inaccurate error.
Oh, there you go. It was inaccurate. It was to showcase or highlight the PlayStation 4 version of the game. So there we go. Okay, very good.
Boom.
All right, cool. So go check out. Evan's gonna drop a link in there to check out for the raid, and we'll be back.
Here.
Cool. Okay, we'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully to talk about, I don't know, Sony PlayStation 5 event, Nintendo Direct, anything. We'll see. All right. All right. We'll see you guys then.
Almonds are probably